that LeChat's always been kind of like I don't know, like the queen of 3 6 Mafia, if that makes sense. Like that
Yeah.
that and then Diamond. Those are the two people. It's like LeChat and Diamond had a rapping child.
Was
Like
was LeChat attractive?
no, but like it doesn't matter, right? Like she was supposed to be a nigga though. Like that was kind of the point. She was a nigga. Like I don't know. Like she's like a nigga. Like
Sexy Red's not that.
she's definitely more attractive. I mean, yeah, I think you put something up, or we talked about it once, and this was maybe 2 years ago. Um, where it was sexy red. It was like this the Mary Kill sex or whatever. Fuck Mary Kill. And it was those two, and I think Sukiyana maybe was the third person. And
Oh
we
yeah,
both
she's a,
agree that
she's a goner.
we both agree that Sukiyana is who you kill.
Yeah,
We were very much so on that. But we swapped in terms of you said Mary Glow, fuck
absolutely.
sexy. I said uh fuck glow, marry sexy.
What was your rationale behind that?
I thought that she was the most attractive one of the three. That's my rationale. She's the most attractive one.
I just couldn't marry the ribbons on the back of the thighs.
I just thought overall makeup and everything, like not literally makeup, but her makeup as a person, that she was the more attractive one. I think Glow, and I said this to you earlier, most improved player, no doubt. I mean, no doubt. And look, that she's an example of what money will do.
Yeah,
Ooh wee. Look what that money make a bitch do. To quote Young Nudie. It is 100% true. He looks a hell of a lot because like I said, this was 2 years ago too. Remember that. This is so
yeah.
this is before the titty job and stuff. So maybe now I'm more on your wave in terms of I would probably marry Glow, but only because Glow has a much more I don't even want to say wider appeal as a person, but like she seems just from what we know, she seems like
She
what's
seems
her
cool.
sexy, yeah, sexy red is just who she is. She's just a ratchet ass chick. And so I think today, with the Glorilla we have today, I would, if I redid it, it'd be the same thing. Because there's nothing about Sukiana that I like am
Okay,
attracted to.
I
Even her
think
ass. Like I'm not really attracted to her like that. So like, I mean,
I think if Glorilla could come tailgate with us, go to a Falcons game, and do our
she have a
post
good
game
time.
after, and she could go incognito, she would enjoy herself.
I agree. I'm on the same page as you when it
I
comes
think
to
Sexy
that.
Red might get tired of being outside because it's hot. The dome is open. You know what I'm saying? She's want to go home and roll up backwoods and lay up.
Well, she's more like, when am I going to get to shake my ass? And like, there are moments for that in Atlanta. There are definitely different places that everybody could go, but I'm not. She would be a harder person to please in terms of going out, or you could take her somewhere, and then it would be
You're embarrassed.
I'm embarrassed, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm the one that's actually embarrassed, and so with Glow, yeah, she seems a little bit more down to earth. She'll be like, "That's cute," like
yeah,
because she
or
could have she got more money than me, and like even in a situation like that, I can still show her a good time.
right, and she may turn up like at the say if we go to 10 after one of them songs come on, she may turn up for a second, but like she gives the vibe that she's not entertaining no dude when she's with you.
Correct, and she'll probably have a good time even with the other guys, but know how to do that.
Yes, yeah,
Because I could go to the bathroom or I could be there and I'm not turning up, but it's others that are doing it. She's like, hey, like all that shit. And so I
I'm
think
just sitting there.
today I'd switch up what we talked about then. Today I would make
Hey,
that determination.
and Parlay Pete, I'd let y'all turn up. I'm gonna talk to the staff here.
Hmm.
Got to make sure those pores stay heavy. and those prices stay like.
Hey, we need Muhammad Ali behind that bar, baby. We need the greatest to ever do it. That's
Hey,
what
we
we
need
need. And
we need Muhammad Ali pouring the drinks and Ray Charles adding them up.
correct, correct. That's the signs of a good night. But how are we doing today, AC Lee?
Oh man, not too bad. It's another amazing Wednesday. Here talking to you, Parlay Pete. Man, how you doing?
Hump Wednesday. Good times, good times. I'm doing pretty well. I got a little solid dinner here.
What you have?
So I went down the street from after I dropped Mariana off. Um,
Okay.
it's just a little bit of mac and cheese, little Southwest so they at I'm trying to think, and you've probably heard of the place. I've been there. It's crazy. I just ordered from there. It's the Southwest Mexican spot that's right down the street. Um, it's on Boulevard, but like Memorial Drive, where that kind of like I don't know.
Sure.
It's right there. But they do a really nice Southwest mac and cheese. I got some yams, and then it's like a lamb chop, but like it's like I don't know how else to explain it. They do
Big
it's
steak
like
in
a
here, huh?
lamb chop. And I got yeah. It's just something to eat.
Yeah. Lamb chops, macaroni and cheese, and yams on a Wednesday. Really big steak in it here, man.
No, you get to order your food to go. I ordered it to go, and then I sat at the bar and I just had just a couple of tequilas, and that was about it.
On this side of town, struggle meals over here. Just a little leg quarter, some broccoli, and some corn.
That sounds like a good meal to me.
Yeah, you're right. I can't hear you right now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. I got my gas turned on today. So like now I can actually officially start cooking meals. But now tomorrow I have to go because when I moved, I kind of so I gave away to my brother and to Katora. I gave them a lot of my like shit.
Furniture.
I had a well, no, not even the furniture. I'm talking about like the glass. Like if you remember, I had a ton of beer mugs. Like I had a lot of shit. I had a lot of like
Oh, that
whole.
whole glass display didn't come with the loft?
No, it was mine. That was my stuff. I had that stuff before I moved there.
You're a
I
prick.
just no, I just got rid of all of it. Here's the thing, like for one, I didn't. It was uncertainty on my end on where I was going to move eventually next. Um, so there was that aspect of it, but then two, I think like carrying it, storing, like the whole nine. I just was kind of it was a one, come all, and my brother got a lot of like the glassware, like the beer mugs, the teacups, the small plates, like because I had a lot of that stuff. I really did. I had a lot of it, and I had it for a few years anyways. I barely use it anyway because I buy plastic and stuff. So like,
Never hosted dinner. Only had one breakfast.
I well, but the crazy thing is that's kind of what it's for, right? Like I would use it for that type of stuff, but like yeah, very rarely was that going on, and even then, I still, depending on what it was, I was still using plastic, and so I didn't feel a need to bring it with me, pack it, hold it, and then all that glass, buying the protection for the glass and moving. So I gave he got a lot of it, and then Katora got a lot of my like I don't know pots and pans, like you just the stuff, cooking utensils,
Cooking
like I
utensils, yeah. So yeah,
yeah, and
you gotta go stock. You gotta go stock up this weekend.
well, I'm gonna do a lot of it on Amazon, but I want to have stuff just immediately too. So like, yeah, I'll probably go to Target or like Walmart.
You know what you ought to do?
What's that?
Go to a fancy consignment shop. Great place for pots and pan shopping.
Really?
Yeah, because you can find like some real doozies in there. Like, like the way you just kind of gave your stuff away.
Yeah, I mean, because that is what happened. I gave it
Yeah, but
away.
think about
Like,
like when when people die and stuff, they just a lot of times that stuff just goes to Goodwill or like or those secondhand stores,
Good
and you
call.
and
Because
like
I didn't even think
pots,
about going to Goodwill.
yeah, but like pots and pans, like you can get in there and find like that grade A shit that's been good since the '60s. So yeah, that's just one of those little things my mom taught me. So I do a lot of my pot and pan shopping. And by me doing my pot and pan shopping, my mom does my pot and pan shopping. Um, bro, she do. She like
No,
she'll just
that's a
come,
good call though.
she'll just come up here one day like, hey, I was at my old secondhand store and I found these really good pans right here. I think you can use them. And because I cook, you
Me
feel like you
too.
can
Like
never have too many.
typically that's the way I like to do it too. Like I mean, baking sheets and stuff. Like I mean, little
Oh,
stuff like that. It goes such a long way. And for me, I like to bake a lot. In terms of when I say bake a lot, like if I'm making salmon, uh carrots, roasted carrots, something like that. Like these everyday meals, the meals that I'll eat actually like on a especially by myself because all the places I lived previously, I've had somebody pretty much living with me. So I'm cooking more. If I don't have to cook as much, I can literally kind of shop day by day as opposed to buying and cooking a lot and then having leftovers. Like I can cook enough to have leftovers, but like
you're not a
now I
leftovers
don't.
guy, huh?
No, I am depending on what it is. Like I love making spaghetti. Like spaghetti, I know that's a one pot type meal, but like I will make spaghetti and we'll eat on that for several days. Like I love spaghetti, and that's something you can't really get away from. Make you can make a small amount, but for the most part, you have to make a pan of spaghetti, right? Like it's gonna
Yeah.
last you. And what I could do, even in that case scenario, I could still give it to if it's not my week with my daughter, can still give it to them. Justice loves my spaghetti. Like there are many different ways I can still distribute that and it doesn't go to waste. Or worst case scenario, I run into enough homeless people. If I got it, I mean they're not gonna be able to warm the shit up.
Hey,
But
we don't
like
have
I
to do a
mean,
deep dive with your leftovers.
but I'm saying now I can go to Publix, buy that one salmon fillet, buy a head of broccoli, buy the little not little carrots, but like literally the carrot bunch, and just get one bunch and cook it for myself. And then there's dinner for that night. Like, you know,
Yeah, I just don't want to go to the grocery store every day,
I don't mind
and
doing it. And there's one
I don't want
closer
to
to
cook
here,
every
but
day
I don't
either.
mind doing it either though.
I've gotten it. I got so used to not cooking every day that I don't want to cook every day anymore.
But see, with stuff, but my point is with stuff like that, it's easier because outside of the broccoli heads, I'd be pan frying them a little in a sense of, just salt, pepper, just cook it.
Uh-huh.
I want it to still be crunchy and stuff, but break the heads off. But then the rest, I'm just kind of, the salmon's already marinated. And then with the carrots, I have to drizzle that and toss them a little to give them that flavor. But outside of that, you roast those and then like I mean that's an easier meal. That's a simple meal to do. Like and
No,
I'm the type where I will eat that, but I can eat that every day. Like I'll do chicken and rice. Like I will do
oh,
those
I
simple
mean,
meals
dog,
on a regular everyday basis.
you're talking to a meal prepper. I When I was really disciplined, I would spend all day Sunday cooking, like baking my chicken, maybe making a roast or some little steak bites, whatever my combo is, my salmon.
Steak, that's
Cook
another
my
one. Like
cook my different veggies, cook my starches, and just be going through and like making making a bunch of Tupperwares. And bro, I'm just eating out of Tupperware all week. Like I'm eating dinner at home by myself out of Tupperware because
yeah,
it's way
roasted potatoes, like the stuff like that. That's what I don't mind. Or I'll make it to where, let's say you go grocery shopping on a Monday, and you get the Yukon small potatoes in that bag. I'll make half for dinner. Maybe I'll eat them all. Maybe I won't, or maybe I'll cook them all, eat however much, and then have the rest. Maybe make it for breakfast. Have it for like roasted potatoes with my breakfast. They're not breakfast potatoes, but it's kind of the same. I mean, if I drizzle just a little bit of syrup or something
bro.
on
You
them,
got one more time to say drizzle.
these are the terms that I usually for what I'm doing because it's the truth. There's no pause. There's no nothing wrong with using the word drizzle.
I mean,
Uh,
I'm just saying you've used drizzle like twice in 2 minutes.
well, eat your motherfucking heart out. It's drizzling.
Well, he
There's
has.
the OVO. There's your OVO chain moment. There you go.
We didn't do pre-production, did we?
We actually didn't that whole time. We did not talk about that, but we have a very good understanding of what we're talking about too.
Yeah. Do you want to start with the combine or NBA?
Combine because we're a football first show.
Speaking of which, you know what I've been thinking about?
What's that?
Uh, Making a soundbite of the graduation music. Anytime I hear Cap, we can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
I don't know what that is. It's weird. So with these headphones, it makes it weird. But regardless, like the Macho Man Randy Savage music.
Burr, 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 burr.
Yeah, that was like his music too for wrestling. It's called actually the name of the song is called Pomp and Circumstance.
Why do you know that? Your sound went out again. This guy's gonna be playing with his ears all night. Try again. No, it sounds like you're whispering. It's like, can you hear me?
All right, can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, you're loud and clear. I just can't see you.
All right, I know. All right, I'm back in the saddle. How about that?
That's what she said.
Yeah, heard that. But Pomp and Circumstance, yeah.
Okay, you were first chair orchestra, huh?
No, I wasn't. I played the saxophone and I was probably like sixth or seventh chair. Like, I mean, out of like eight or nine. So I wasn't the worst, but I was pretty bad.
I picked on band kids.
I was only in middle school, but like at the same time, I,
Middle
I was
school, I
only in
picked
it.
on them.
m-
Oh
My
God,
mom,
go ahead.
my mom made me choose. My mom made me choose between that or Spanish, and I chose band.
And your daughter speaks Spanish. What are we doing?
I know. Well, of course. Well, I'm not mad that I learned how to play music. I'm not. Like I still
Bro,
know how to read music. But I'm just saying I still know how to read music.
so you
Like that,
learn
to me
pop and
that's like a cool
circumstance?
thing.
Did you learn pop and circumstance in the band?
No, that wasn't a song that we played.
Okay. Yeah,
I learned
I used to always ask the band kids like who was first chair, and then if you wasn't first chair, I'll just tell you trash.
that's a fair. My brother Tars was a very good saxophone player. Like he was first second chair, and he put it this way, he was so good. In middle school, you had beginner, intermediate, advanced band,
Yeah,
and sometimes there would be you could be in sixth grade and maybe be an intermediate or in a very rare position in advanced, but like he was the type to where he was when he was in seventh grade, he was in advanced band because it was concert band, and Stevenson's very good. Stevenson has a really good band too, so that's the other part. Like Stevenson's band is one of the best.
in the
Stevenson's
land.
done, yeah, but Stevenson's done Macy's Day. Them at Southwest DeKalb, that's a real thing. Like there's a rivalry within the sports, but the reality is the band. Those are like the two best bands, probably in Metro Atlanta. Like they're very good. Those are very good bands. Like
Did I did I tell you the story about how I almost went to MLK?
really, no, I don't. Nah. What? Why are you gonna move to the east side?
I wasn't. My mom got a job offer. New. She was friends with a principal who took over, and she considered taking the job, which then would have allowed me to transfer without having to sit out a year.
MLK.
And then I said, it's probably a little too rough over there for me. Let me stick here in the country.
MLK, I mean, they were another one. Like when I think of like the East Side sports, at least, well, I mean, school wise too, the toughest schools in DeKalb County are McNair. McNair
Yeah.
is the first one that comes to my mind. Oh, look, it was the plus thing. Are we gonna get some? I don't know. We'll see. Uh, McNair. I know Columbia has this like
They had a good
fucking
women's basketball program in the mid late 2000s.
well, because Columbia is closer to Atlanta, but it's DeKalb. It is
Gotcha.
kind of Atlanta, but it's DeKalb County still, right? That's where Future went. Like Chris Tucker went there. A couple of like famous people went to Columbia,
I'm
but
thinking about moving to the east side.
I'm sure you would now. But Columbia, McNair, Tri Cities isn't DeKalb. That's Atlanta. I
Yeah, good
know.
old ATS.
Yeah, but the better schools in DeKalb were always Chambly, Boink.
Oh, hey! I'm just sitting here thinking, let's get out of this. Nobody cares.
Yeah, it's still Atlanta, a little Atlanta history, but go ahead.
No, let's get to the combine. First things first. We are all here to do what Falcons do. This might be the shortest Falcons first segment ever, but I just want to say a big round of applause for the Falcons brass for making the decision to go to the combine with a defensive focus and leave the offensive coaches at home. That's all I got.
They're liars. Like I said, the top guy from fucking Channel 2 said that he saw the offensive line coach there, which the reality is too,
Who needs to
we
be
should
there?
be focused on well, right. How do you not want to look at the offensive people regardless? There should be somebody there looking
For,
at that, like
for your
one way
for
or
your
another.
for your pro personnel department, because some of these guys will get cut, some of these guys won't get drafted, some of these guys will be free agents in 4 years. Like you still need to get information on these guys. That's one of the things that they said made the Patriots so great was they would use the combine, the pre-draft process for free agents in 4 or 5 years.
And I bet to prepare for teams, if a guy was a major player, like I'm sure
Bingo.
anyone that saw Jaden Daniels in the regular season after 6, 7 games, even, I mean, it could be at the start of the season. You still had a good understanding of who he was and how he operated, and like little shit, like you're almost scouting against them too at the same time.
Absolutely, because I mean, hell, the person you may be wanting to talk to may not be there when it's your pick. Because the only person who's guaranteed to get the guy that they want is the person with the first pick.
Correct.
So I just wanted to put that out there, and hopefully this franchise is headed in the right direction. Because I might just pursue career opportunities elsewhere. In another city where their football team is good enough for me to get season tickets. I think I could get some Jet season tickets.
Yeah, I don't think that those cost very much. I went to the Jets game not last season, but the season before that, and it cost more for me to get from my hotel in Manhattan to the game than it did for my tickets, and I sat on the front row on the 40, 50 yard line. It was raining that day, but still,
It
I'm dead
wasn't raining when you
serious.
bought. It wasn't raining when you bought the ticket, or was it? Yeah, your sound went out again.
It wasn't.
Bingo. Honestly, I base my city selection on my ability to be able to afford, or have the opportunity to get season tickets.
Really.
Yeah.
I mean, I know why you're a big fan of the ball.
Whoa, that's crazy.
I didn't say balls. I said ball.
You never know. It's a different world we live in
No,
today.
there might be some of those that exist too, but I, you know, I I don't know anything about it, and so um, yeah, I'll
I
leave that there.
in saying that, I would not turn down a job in New York if it paid if it paid enough.
For sure. I mean, that's a place that is desirable to live.
And
You
like
got to be
low
making the money to live there, though. Like that, there's no doubt. You got to be
dog,
making the money.
I was talking to my partner and he's like, looking for a spot up there and all of these different fees. First last month, a building fee, a city of New York fee, and then you look at like your tax breakdown. You live in the city of New York, you're paying more tax. It's just like you got to pay to live there, unless you're in the projects and you're just kind of stuck there. And I mean, where else can you go? You can't come up with 8 racks to take out a lease anywhere.
I mean, they're giving you a little bit more, right? Uh, you got everything at your disposal at for the most part, most times of the day. I That's like the thing to me. It's always been the convenience factor. It's a convenience fee. That's what it is. Like it's a
It's
convenience fee.
just like California taxes you for the weather.
And beach access
Yeah,
24/7.
I know, but you got to pay. Like Atlanta doesn't have a tax. Like there's not an Atlanta tax
They just add
unless
more
you're.
onto everything.
Yeah, no, you just get to make more money here.
I went to a before my daughter's Black History Month program on Friday. Her mother needed to. She got a car finally. Congratulations to her. But we had to go to Navy Federal to go get the
Federal.
check for the loan. Huh? We had to go there to get the check for the loan. Our grandfather is military, but point being, we had to go there, and so we were in Camp Creek. I haven't been to Camp Creek in a minute. My cousin used to live there, but I don't ever have a reason to go over there. And so we went over
Hold on,
there,
hold on, hold
and
on,
we
hold
were.
on. You don't go to U Bar no more?
No, it's funny. We passed it, and she had never been, and I told her I was like, "Oh man, I got some memories there." But no, I don't go to U Bar, but we go there. So we had probably about an hour and 30 to kill, and she swore that all she had to do was go in to grab it. Like it was basically ready. It was nothing to sit down, no nothing. Just basically she get the check. And the program was at 10:30. We got over there about 9. So if that was only going to take about that long, it's an in and out. Well, what are we going to do? We certainly weren't going to be having sex or anything. So the thing is, at that point, we got to figure out what we're going to do. So it's get food always, right? Like that's the number one thing. And there's no Waffle House over there, which I found a little confusing. I was like, really? There's no Waffle House over here? But there really isn't. The closest
Yes.
one is Old Nap.
You don't want
And
to go to.
so, nah, I did. It's cheaper than anything we would have been able to get over there. And either way, we found a spot that was brand new, brand fucking new. I didn't
What's it
even
called?
know it. It's called Whisk. And like we went there, it looked like a place that you'd see on Love and Hip Hop, you know, any of those shows. It reminded me of like what Old Lady Gang kind of used to be. And I'd only been to Old Lady Gang, for instance, once. And I lived right above it for 3 years. Point is, we go in, pretty nice. Like it was nice. It was clearly black owned, and I was very somewhat aware of that when we pulled up. It was nice, overpriced brunch food, basically. And like
Man,
I
I
hadn't I
wish.
hadn't been to brunch in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So we go in, we got no alcohol. I got sparkling water. We got an app, and we both got an entree. I paid $100, and
Jesus.
yeah, but this is one of those type of places. This is what I'm trying to explain it. And but I didn't know how new it was. I mean, I don't go to Camp Creek, so I didn't never heard of it. I'd never heard of this place. That place opened up on January 31st. Had no fucking idea. And what I'll say is that the food was good though. So now it's giving me an idea of damn, if I ever got somebody that's in from out of town or something, I could go here because they'll be impressed. I won't be. The food wasn't bad. I'm just saying, but like, this is a place to
Hey,
take a woman
I got a spot for you that's down in that area.
in Camp Creek.
It's in College Park. It's right off
Close
85.
enough. Close enough.
It's called Buttermilk Biscuit. It's on Virginia Ave.
Already heard of it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Have you been?
I've never been, but I know what it is.
I know the owner.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
He dated in high school.
Hmm. So I know about that place because it's obviously it's right there by Spawn Divot
I've been
and
thinking
Malone's and stuff.
about going. I just think it might not come off the right way.
We were over there once and I picked I think I was picking them up. Actually it was Christmas. I was picking them up and we were trying to decide where we were gonna go. So yeah, I know what you're talking about, literally. Because we chose another spot. But like, yeah, I was interested because I was like, looked at the menu, I was like, not bad. Like, you know, pretty
I'm gonna
decent.
check it out. I'm gonna check it out one of these days.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about though.
Okay. Any other takeaways from do you have any takeaways from the combine? I got a few written down here, but
Well, just Quinn Ewers' poor performance throwing the football. I know that people gave him a little bit better of a grade, but based on the clips I saw, I mean, that when you it's not I can't judge anyone off of two back-to-back snaps with no defense and guys running decent routes. But it's still pretty sad to see you with no pressure, no nothing, just stepping back and missing throws. I thought that was one of the things. The other thing was who's Texas's wide receiver too.
Golden Kid or Bond?
Yeah, Bond. Bond had came out and said he was going to run with Worthy ran. He's like, I'll probably run a four. He said I might run a 4.19, and then he like ran a 4.4. I mean, he wasn't even close. Um, and there's nothing wrong with being confident. Like I think everybody should come in with confidence, and that that leads to my next point. And then you go ahead and you list yours. But uh, everybody talking about Shador and the fact that two top 10 or top 15 teams that basically came out and they said, yeah, he seemed a little cocky, seemed basically like he was better. Well, I just don't believe that. I don't believe that personally because he's got a dad that was in the NFL, and whether everybody thought he was a cocky NFL player because he definitely played with flair. That's just so hard to believe that somebody like that will be coached up. He did play well in college, regardless of what people want to say. He did it on two different levels of D1, but like at two different programs. It's hard to believe that he came in thinking that he was just the shit. I just don't believe that that's the way the interview process went. I don't believe that.
All right, so that was one of the things I had. So let's start with the one. You remember Dion talked about when the Giants gave him that thick playbook that he needed to memorize? And he asked them,
Y-
where y'all picking at? And they said 10. Oh, I ain't gonna be there. And again, that's Dion. That's not primetime Hall of Famer yet, That's a poor. He probably wasn't poor because he was at Florida State and he got paid. But that's a poor kid coming out of South Florida just trying to make it.
Well, he definitely wasn't for it. Lee, you saw his draft day
Yeah,
gold.
yeah.
And unless he was wearing that shit that was gonna make his neck break out, I'm gonna assume it was real.
Nah, if his neck broke out, it was from the curl, not the gold.
That's a fair point too.
But so I tell that story to say maybe the team that Shador was talking to, he knew they weren't going to draft him. They may have been scouting him for later on to better prepare for him, or he knew he was going to be gone before they had a pick. Because
Yep.
not
But
only
what if
do
they trade up for you?
hold on, not only do top picks have certain assurances, but Hall of Famer Shador, who was mentored by Tom Brady, who was a part owner in the Raiders, but more importantly, whose dad is Deion Sanders, gold jacket, argument for one of the greatest football players of all time, probably the greatest athlete of all time. He gets to dictate stuff kind of like Archie Manning. Like Archie Manning couldn't lick the dirt off Deion Sanders' cleats. Couldn't touch the turf on him as a player. So if Archie can swing his big dick around to get his son where he needs him to be, it's no different than Deion. It's just different because it's Deion. But also, Todd McShay talked about the Shedeur comments. And based on what McShay said, it tells me that he talked to the executives who made the statement. And they were in his explanation was they didn't say it in a negative way. Like, yeah, the story was put out there and it carried that way, but he said it wasn't negative. They were saying that a lot of kids come in there and that's their biggest job interview of their life. So they're on edge, they're just eager, they're happy, like, yeah. Whatever you say, you know what I mean? But Shedeur was very just comfortable in himself. And it's like, hey, I am who I am him. So like y'all are interviewing for the opportunity to have my services, not I'm interviewing for the opportunity to work for your company. Like he's looking at it, and these aren't McShay's words, but based on what he said, I took it as Shedeur like, I know I'm getting drafted high, so y'all need to impress me more than I need to impress y'all because the film is the film.
The show. It didn't have to be McShay's words. That's the point. We can view and evaluate the stuff with the best of them in reality. And I did not get to see McShay's breakdown from his comments that did get reported. But at the same time, even based on what you're saying, that makes a ton of sense too. It wasn't a he's interviewing for the job. It's a I'm gonna get the job. It's a matter of who wants me first. It's not me. I'm not picking you because you're picking me anyways.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of I don't even want to sell you anything because there's nothing for me to sell. I've already done that work on the field. I am the son of Deion Sanders. I've been covered highly from the moment that I touched down on a college campus, whether it was an HBCU or not. And so like, I can understand exactly how he would feel from that perspective. Like, I mean, I'm not him, but I'm just saying, like, I
Yeah.
can understand exactly how he would feel. And so it checks off for me. And he might also, because his dad's Deion Sanders, he might already know something that they don't either. And but the only reason I say what I said, I didn't mean to like interject while you were talking, but like the other
You
thing
didn't
is,
mean
well, what
to.
if somebody trades up? What if somebody trades up? I mean, that's kind of that would be my only thing. What if you never know? I don't know if the Falcons interviewed Julio, right? Like, but like they traded up and got him at 6. So like that does happen too. Like that does happen.
But they still got authentic him because I'd rather, if I'm interviewing players, I'd rather be turned off or not even turned off because McShay even said they weren't bothered by it. They weren't turned off by the behavior. It was just different. It was different than most players. I'd rather be taken aback by your level of comfort than wowed by how you just said all the right things. You know, I'd much rather you be slumped in your chair, but then when I say something that piques your interest, you pop up and you get to talking, you know what I mean, and get excited, versus you sitting there like this, yes, sir. And so on this play, this is what we do. Yeah, this is how I think. This is the person I want to be in the community. I want to start a nonprofit as soon as I get there. I want somebody to be like, you know how like niggas who ain't never been nowhere are, and like you hear them in
Yeah,
interviews, like Ant-Man, and not to say that Ant-Man hasn't went anywhere. I think Ant-Man's like the anomaly who's been so like good at life that he can be authentically himself and he doesn't really get hurt because Ant could get terrible PR. He doesn't get it. It's not even in our topics
right.
for today. Like there's one that's hot. I didn't write it down. Don't got to talk about it. We can, though. But anyways, not many people are like that. But you got to know when Ant-Man sat down with some of them executives, they're like, man, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga? Don't you know, like, he could be he might talk himself out the first number 1 overall pick because of how he's acting? People are like, now, people are like, Ant-Man, with all these texts and all these cursing fines, he might not be the face of the league. Ant's like, bro, I don't want that shit. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Beating their meat.
I can't now.
You know who was beating their meat if he did fall?
Steve Kerr.
The team with the second pick that year.
Steve Kerr.
Because, yep, him, Bob Myers, everybody in Oakland and San Francisco as a whole, they were in unison to the same type of video. If Minnesota was stupid enough, because Wiseman probably wouldn't have went one. I guess LaMelo would have been probably the pick. That would be my guess. There was no way they could not with Cat there. Like there's no way they were taking Wiseman.
No, but if Minnesota hooked up Golden State again, because they gave him Steph.
Man, look, they would have. I don't even know where Klay Thompson was at on the contract. They wouldn't have. They would have been trying to trade that nigga that night.
that was Achilles ACL Klay.
Yeah, well, but he got the extension. Did he get the extension that year?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Either, well, right.
That bag of bones.
They would have found a way to shoot that nigga out. They would have been like, "Oh, no, you're gone." Yeah, they would have been like, "Oh no, you're gone, brother." Or they would have tried to maybe make it work and him at the 3, of course. Like that's an option too. But like
Klay, hey Klay, yeah. Don't even come back. Don't even come back to Oakland. It's called the movers. We don't know where you're going, but unless you plan on keeping that house, pack it up, buddy.
Actually, his value is as high as it could have been then, anyways. Post that injury. So yeah, they would have. Man, the Orlando Magic might have given them a pick that turned into Paolo Banchero or something eventually. Like, no, because that is what they would have did. Like, they would have got that nigga out of there.
And here's the thing.
Or suckered LeBron, lay GM into trading away a pick or two. I don't know. We'll see. But.
And I don't think they would have starved the league for the best deal because Big Bob's beef was just like, hold on. He's already cheap. We know what his next salary will be. We just actually need to be specific in what we get for Klay to get this team rolling so we can get Ant to year 3. So you may not take the best deal on paper, but you may take the best deal on the court. Oh, by the way, the Hawks won the LeLuka trade.
I disagree, but they won it from the standpoint of he's not
no,
a Hawk.
No,
he's not a Maverick anymore.
No, Pete, that was a cliffhanger. No, that was rhetorical.
Okay.
I'll tell you why when we get to our next NBA segment. Oh, actually, no, we're not even in NBA. Last thing from the Combine.
Go ahead.
Travis Hunter saying that he can play both sides of the ball, and that's crazy. And that what he would do is harder than what Shohei Ohtani is doing in the NFL. I'm sure it was a question that was asked to him. And I found that whole piece kind of interesting because the response was pitching in Major League Baseball and being a power hitter is harder than just playing receiver or corner. Sure. But I never, ever in my life subscribed to pitchers can't hit because I played baseball. And a lot of guys were good baseball players who were pitchers who could hit. And then all of a sudden they become pitchers and they can't hit anymore. No. What Shohei Ohtani is doing is probably could be way more common if we allowed it to happen. But we don't allow pitchers to hit. Parlay Pete, I know you can remember this. Greg Maddox was a good hitting pitcher. Like he could hit. Like he might jack one every now and then. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Nothing. I think you said Max Fried.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, phone ringing. But point being, the reason why what Travis Hunter is attempting to do is difficult. It's not because the skill sets don't transfer. It is the wear and tear on the body, the endurance required to do it. But it hasn't been done. Travis Hunter is the first person to do it at this level, at this degree. We say it can't be done because we haven't seen it, because we don't try it. Because I truly believe this. As the African Americans came into sports, we created these weird rules to like give more people an opportunity to get a chance to play. Like there's no reason why you can't play football two ways. Back in the day when we didn't have all this medical stuff we have, no reason why pitchers can't hit, no reason why quarterbacks could never run, and we started this league in the six back offense with running quarterbacks, there's no reason why you need to go to college to go to pre-professional professional sports. You know what I mean? You should not have to be a good student if you're good at sports to go play sports at the highest level. Right. I think these were all things to give certain players an opportunity. I'm not talking about Kevin Loves and JJ Reddicks and you know what I mean? I'm not talking about these guys. I'm talking about, like Boeheim's son, those guys who are really at the end of the bench to keep the GPA up on the team, those guys.
Ball. We're talking football.
Any sport. Point being, I'm
Yeah,
talking
but you
about,
play both sides on a basketball.
yeah, but the clearinghouse, they may take that shooter with the 4.0.
I'm fucking with you, but I'm just
I know you are.
saying it's a different sport still.
But even in football, I'm saying that the thing is, well, if it was traditional to play two sides of the ball on
They do
all
it in high
levels,
school anyways.
some high schools we didn't do it. My last couple years of high school, only a couple people played two ways. We played one side of the ball.
But depends on how big or good your school is.
We our team was not big and our team was not good. More people should have played two ways. Hey, that's crazy. The point being is that they create these rules that aren't like real rules. Just like in baseball, bro. You're not supposed to celebrate, watch the home run too long. Why is that a rule?
Well, bat flips too are but baseball has the most unspoken rules of any sport too. So
But
like
the rules are protecting a certain institution or how they want the game to be played. You know what I mean?
for sure, and that's the oldest one in America though too.
Because you remember the World Baseball Classic when it's all these when it's not the MLB, so the white guys are on one team, really?
Yeah,
They be cutting up to the World Baseball Classic. You know what I'm saying? They hit a home run, he watch it, he throw that thing in the air, and everybody's having fun. It looks cool.
because that's their Olympics.
But that's how baseball really supposed to be. Like Kenny Lofton with the chain hanging out when he's rounding the base. You know what I mean? Ken Griffey with the diamonds, with the hat backwards. Barry Bonds with the dangly cross, the only real nigga who can rock the dangly cross. Shout out to the NBA for incorporating Barry Bonds into All-Star in Oakland. That was fire. Or San Francisco, that was fire. He deserves his flowers. GOAT. Sorry.
Both goats. Him and
Yeah, him and
Jerry.
Jerry.
Because those are the fact that they're Bay Area legends, but those are you could argue really the greatest of all time, both sides.
Hey, dog, what do you think their nights out together were like? White women galore.
But does Jerry strike you? Jerry went to an HBCU. Not that that means anything, but I'm just saying, Barry for sure. Like I know Barry was all up in white ass because he's a baseball player, but he's like the most famous baseball player. And Jerry's the most, he's the greatest wide receiver ever. And like I said, you could argue the greatest football player ever. His records won't be touched. Like Mahomes could catch Brady. Nobody's catching Rice ever, ever.
Check the chat.
Oops, keep forgetting I'm
Yeah, it's
on the
kind of
phone
where
here.
he's using his phone, so it's not as easy to check the chat. But I did have to send him
Whoops,
some
hold on.
comments. Look at this guy here messing up our product. Yeah, you could get this on.
Hold on.
This man's confused.
Comments. Nah, it's different on the phone, man.
I believe
Ah,
you.
the
I probably
chat. All right, there you go. Oh, doesn't surprise me. That that
yeah.
that doesn't surprise me.
Last thing. Did you hear Ocho Cinco's comments in response to Travis Hunter?
Oh no, I thought you were about to talk about Cameron. No, I didn't hear about Travis Hunter. What did Travis Hunter say to Ocho Cinco?
Nothing. No, he just said the what him playing two sides in the NFL is harder than what Shohei Ohtani playing two sides in Major League Baseball
I
or
highly
pitching.
disagree.
Well, yeah. Ocho Cinco said the hardest two things to do is to hit a baseball and keep a woman happy.
But that's what makes Shohei's that much more. He's the fact that he's great at
Bro,
both.
you're not even responding to what I'm saying. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me
Yeah.
now? You said that Ocho Cinco said that what Travis Hunter was doing was harder than.
No. Ocho Cinco said the hardest thing to do is to hit a baseball and keep a woman happy.
Okay, I agree with that. Sure.
And then you just said that makes it why Otani was right. I was trying to get you to respond to the second part of what Ocho or respond to exactly what Ocho said. No Travis Hunter, no Otani. But it seems like you're running from the topic.
Are you talking about Travis Hunter and his woman getting
No,
fucked by
no,
other
no,
people? Like, I mean, what are
no.
we?
I just think Ocho was making a general statement about the difficulties of keeping women happy. And
But I get that. But your initial thing, I'm trying to compare it to that, but it almost seemed like it could have been a joke on Travis Hunter's expense because his woman was out with other men. So that's why,
oh,
like,
yeah,
does
no
that
reason.
does that play into that at
No,
all?
no, no. That's not Ocho. That's not Ocho as a media personality. Like Ocho don't bash people.
But I'm saying you can use it that way.
But he wasn't. That's what I'm saying.
But him saying that to go with it could make that,
It had
regardless.
no, it had nothing to, that had nothing to do with Travis. He was trying to talk about how difficult it is to keep a woman happy. And I tried to bait you into saying something about that. And you just totally just stepped on it. You ruined it.
I think it's.
Your Quinn
I
Ewers
don't
at
know
the combine.
how difficult is it really. I mean, it is.
Your Quinn
I
Ewers at the combine.
No, man, no, I'm not. I'm not missing passes. I
Your Cam Newton,
maybe I dropped the ball, man. But
your
I
Cam
didn't miss
Newton
any
is
passes.
your Cam Newton at the Super Bowl, man. You're fumbling. You're Julio against Phillies. Just going between your hands, man. You're not catching it. Pause.
Oh, man, that is crazy.
You hear what Jerry Jones? Oh, not here. Did you see what the Cowboys did?
Yes, they created 54 million dollars in cap with the restructuring of their two highest paid players.
Does that tell us that maybe Dallas did have a plan when they signed these players to these large contracts because they knew they were invested in them and now they can play with the money kind of like Howie does? Not as well.
Yeah, because they could have just paid. I know that Dak got paid pretty handsomely up front because he made the most of anyone last year. But like, um, how he does it different. How him and Lori,
But
they're
let's stay on
literally
Dallas.
they're
Stay on
paying these
Dallas.
guys up front.
I got you, but let's stay on Dallas.
Sure, I tell you what, it makes sense for why Jerry didn't. He waited to pay Dak last year, but I think maybe they knew that Mike wasn't going to be the coach next year unless they did win, and obviously he got hurt and all that other stuff. But like that could be the case because everybody was like, well. You could have just gave them both their contracts in the summer, which would have freed up cap anyways because you redid their deals, and then you could have signed Derrick Henry. But now this is what's considered, would you say, probably a pretty weak class. I mean, they're not going to be able to, unless they like Dowdle and they're going to draft an RB1. Your running game is still suspect. Now you've lost long time guy because Zach Martin, I don't think he's retired officially, but seems like he might be done. Like now you've got it. Those are like needs. That's another need now that you have. Your defense, you have to pay Michael Parsons still, with the assumption you're not trading him. You got to pay him. You've got you still need a wide receiver too. And who knows? Maybe Devontae Adams and somehow they'll pay. But like they're I don't know. I mean, and now you're in a division with the team that's the best team in football. So,
And speaking of the best team in football, they just paid their running back.
but not I. But see, he keeps doing this, and this is what I'm saying. He's giving him all this money. They ripped up the next 2 years, and I know that maybe there was only the next year being guaranteed, but they ripped it up, gave him a raise, guaranteed damn near all of it, and gave him $15 million in escalators to do it again and again. But like they're setting it, they gave Bond 3 years, 51. Like they're setting themselves up with the new cap, the new TV money that's dipping in. It's setting up to where the Eagles can keep doing what they're doing, and that's why I like this GM and coach combo. Every team in the
Not
NFL should
coach,
try and model
GM owner,
themselves.
GM
Yeah,
owner, not
GM owner, not coach. Yeah, not coach. My bad. GM owner.
and that's the thing though. If ideally, if you get the GM right, the coach should be replaceable because you know the type of coach that you need for the structure that's coming from the top down. But oftentimes the GM becomes replaceable because the coach is the guy and it gets funky. But credit to Philly for having an organizational structure and an organizational culture that they stick to. And once you don't work there anymore, you don't work there. And that's great for running an organization. Now, you may have hurt feelings for those who get let go of too soon. But the great thing about what Philly is doing is they are treating their alumni with love. You know, because what they drafted Trotter's kid. They didn't have to do that.
You can't hear me?
I can now.
Oh, the Eagles also, if there's one thing about them, they're not built for, in my opinion, they just won it, right? But like they're not really built for dynasty football. They're going to be good, but dynasty football requires you, and it's no shots to Jalen Hurts. I mean, I had my name on here as Love Hurts.
Oh
It
yeah.
always requires that guy. You know what I mean? It requires the quarterback to be top three no matter what. That's what the dynasties we've seen. It's Mahomes. It's
Troy wasn't top 3.
but like Peyton Manning, and Peyton Manning was top three, and that wasn't a dynasty, right? Like,
But
but they were
Troy,
good.
but Troy was a part of a dynasty, and he wasn't top 3.
Troy
And
who?
Troy Aikman,
Oh, Troy Aikman. Yeah,
but he wasn't top 3. Boy, go look at the numbers. He wasn't top
he's
3.
a Hall of Famer.
I got you. And if Jalen Hurts keeps this up, he's a Hall of Famer. Like, you don't like Jalen Hurts because you don't like the way it looks week in and week out. And hold on, and because of the way he plays and his limitations as a passer, we look at it as worse. Like I honestly believe an athletic black quarterback with some passing limitations, even with some great aspects of their passing game, is seen like negatively. Like even like Tua has limitations in his game. But some people look at Tua as a better quarterback. I mean, he took Jalen's spot, same draft, went around before him. Tua can't throw the deep ball. Tyreek Hill would love to have Jalen Hurts as the quarterback. Jalen Hurts is arguably a top 3 deep ball thrower in the game. Like, it's beautiful. So I think his limitations are amplified. But if we look at the production, and more importantly, we look at the W's, he, he's top 5 if we're looking at W's. And I know he's going to be
So,
in everybody's top 5 going into this season because he just won the Super Bowl. I got all of that. Cool, cool, cool. But but if the name of the game is winning and we don't care about style points, and in Philly, we have a fan base, so we getting butts and seats, jersey sold, and eyes on the tube. Gives a fuck what it looks like. Jalen Hurts is doing his job.
so you just made a great point, though. You brought up Troy Aikman of all people. That's how the Eagles have built their team. They built their team to be like the '90s Cowboys. Great offensive line, great running back, good receiver, and
Great
a
receiver.
defense.
Hold on, hold
And
on. Well, Cowboys had a great receiver.
okay, but the Eagles have a good one. I can't say that AJ Brown is great yet, in my opinion. I don't think he's great. I think he's good.
He has potential to be great.
They've got two good receivers. How about that? Because I
He
couldn't
really
tell
do.
you who the Cowboys wide receiver two was during the early '90s. I know they had Moose Johnson at tight end or fullback or whatever,
Fullback.
but like,
And that's why
yeah,
he's not.
but like they had Wycheck or whatever
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
tight end.
yeah, yeah. That's okay.
My
Get to the major point though. We don't care about those.
Yeah, the major point is that it's kind of it's a similarly built team, and so yes, I could see how Jalen Hurts could fall under a Troy Aikman mold if they continue to win. He'll be could looked at the same way, like, and I'm pretty sure Troy probably has definitely a Super Bowl MVP. Like Emmitt didn't win MVP every time, so you know.
But
Um,
you said they're not built for a dynasty, and then you compared them to the '90s Cowboys, who were a
Well, I'm
dynasty.
saying that's how the team is built. I don't know how that's going to be sustainable in today's football because
I,
running the football doesn't win you championships. They were able to do it this year, but name the last few teams that have done it to where a running back was the best
well,
player on the team. It just doesn't happen that often.
but in the Super Bowl, they threw the ball. So even though their running back is the best player on their team, similarly to Baltimore, the running back may be the best player, but the quarterback, I'm saying maybe. Depends on who you ask, dog. Somebody might say that. I won't. But the point being is the difference between the running back maybe being the better player and the difference between the quarterback to what is great enough to be to get you there is so narrow that it doesn't matter if Jalen Hurts isn't the best player because on any given day he can be the best player on the field and win Super Bowl or Super Bowl MVP. Remember, in the Super Bowl he lost. He was a better passer than Patrick Mahomes that game. He did not play better than Patrick Mahomes because he had to fumble and he had an interception too, but he had to fumble, which really like lost the game. But he passed the ball better than Patrick Mahomes in that game. So Jalen has shown that on any given day he can throw it with the best of them. Pause.
Yeah, he can toss it.
Yeah, he got
But
one Super Bowl MVP. Troy did.
sure, but I guess all I'm saying is this: they are a team I think that's going to be very good. I would be shocked if the Eagles repeat it, and that's just my opinion. A lot of stuff went right. They're
It's
a
the
good
NFL,
football team.
man.
Yeah, it's too much parity.
Yeah, NFL is not a repeat league. But you're talking about a team that maybe lost it all. Team that looked like they may be starting a fire sale and getting ready to pay um, a quarterback more money than he's worth. Debo to Washington for a 5. What does that tell you about the 49ers?
That they are further away from being what they were than what they are.
Okay, now say that in English so we understand.
They're further away from being the Super Bowl contender that they were, and they're closer to the team that they were this season. They had injuries, of course, but mainly being their best player being injured pretty much a majority of the year. But and for what it's worth, Debo, he had one great season. He got paid off one great season. He was he's a Swiss Army knife in a weird way. He's what Taysom Hill is, but better, right? Because he's actually a wide receiver. But
I
like,
don't. No, 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 no. Let's not say he's what Taysom Hill is, but better. Let's say no, 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 no. Let's
he
say
didn't
he's
have
Percy.
one
No,
game that was as
no, no, no.
impactful as Taysom Hill's one good game this year.
He maybe last year, but he's Percy Harvin on steroids.
Yeah, but he's not
Like,
even that great of a returner.
but Taysom Hill, Taysom Hill, like try to. He had no. We just can't make him like good Taysom Hill. Like Taysom Hill can't be the standard.
I'm not saying he's Taysom Hill. I'm saying that Taysom Hill, he's he's if Taysom Hill was really a wide receiver.
I know what you're.
Taysom,
I know what you're saying, but like Taysom Hill can't be the bar. Debo or somebody else has to be the bar, not fucking Taysom Hill.
all right, it was a good pickup for the Commanders. I like the pickup for a fifth round pick. He's got basically
I'm
one
talking
last
about the
year.
Niners. We're talking about the Niners still.
I know we are, but I think it was a good pickup for them. I think that again, like I said, that the 49ers are closer to what they were this year than what they have been, which was a Super Bowl contender. They've got to get ready to pay uh, Purdy all that money. And at the same time, either that or he could, depending on how Shanahan feels, he could really flip the switch and trade him if he really wanted to, because
Get
they would
ass
get
for
one of
Arch.
those first picks.
Get ass for Arch.
You could say that. You could say that maybe they pay Darnold and bring him back and give him a 3-year deal for 100, but give him 55 guaranteed. So he's really there for a year and a half, kind of, and you could still kind of make your mind up, as opposed to being cap strung by a guy that you're giving a 5-year 300, right? Like, I mean,
You know, Kank for Carson.
I nah. Well, they wouldn't do. He wouldn't do that. But they can bring Darnold back. Is all I'm saying. I mean, there's and still be competitive, still be good. They're probably pissed still about the Trey Lance thing, but like, I mean, they're not. I don't think they're going to do that. Like, I think that they're going to pay the money to Purdy, but like, they could absolutely do that. Though. Like, I would not. I don't 100% rule it out. It depends on how really good they feel about. Because his resume stacks up to where he could say fuck Dak Prescott because he's done more than Dak Prescott.
I mean, he could.
He's been second in MVP voting just like Dak Prescott.
But who do you think is better? You went out. Nothing.
Today, I'd rather have Purdy.
For one season
Yeah,
without Kyle Shanahan.
that's not what you asked.
I mean, I'm asking the second question. You know what? I think he said he'd take Purdy because we couldn't hear him. And
Oh man. Oh.
no, we can hear you now. It just comes in and out. It's kind of like sex, just comes in and out, you know.
Oh.
uh so it looks like Cleveland is looking for a quarterback. Do you think they killed Deshaun Watson's contract? Do you think Deshaun Watson gets another chance to be a starter in Roger Goodell's NFL?
Yeah, he'll start another NFL game. I don't think he started his last game. No.
No. A chance to be a starter, not start another game.
Like going in 100%, this is our QB1.
I'm saying we're going to bring this guy in for a competition. I don't think he plays for another team, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think he gets another shot, no doubt.
I don't think he plays for another team because he's been so bad in Cleveland. He got hurt. He was dancing and stuff. To re-aggravate the Achilles or didn't have the boot on, whatever it was that they're going to try to do to not pay him, because there's just a whole conspiracy against Deshaun Watson. He must know what happened to Kennedy. But he-
Has to come in to compete for a starting job.
if he doesn't get the starting job, I don't think he'll play on the team. I don't think Deshaun Watson gets to be a backup
I've seen it.
outside of
It
Cleveland.
seems like it's happened. It seems like it's happened too many times. I just look at RG3. He went to Cleveland and got a chance to start and did. I I don't want to
Well,
say that the injuries are the end all be all for him.
RG3 conducted himself accordingly on the massage table. So I think what comes with that and kind of the feel in the locker room and the feel around the building and the fan base, I think Deshaun Watson's allegations and the things that he paid for are too it's just too much to bring him in because he's been fucking terrible.
Old news enough
Huh?
after next season. After next season, you don't think that's old news enough?
No, I don't think I don't think he's played good enough football to make it old news. What Vic did in bad news old news was he was throwing touchdowns to Deshaun Watson. I mean to Deshaun Jackson. Deep balls. Real deep balls. I'm talking about tea bags, nigga. Bro, you remember that one play where Vic like launched that mud like 70 yards, like with
Yeah,
the
the
flick of
first
the
play of
wrist?
Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Look at the flick of the wrist. Look at the bro. Why hey, no, how can that little nigga throw football so far and hard? Pause.
Gosh, I mean, you were on a roll too with that whole thing, tea bags and oh boy, because he had a cannon. I mean, godly. That's why. That's how. And the other guy was really fast.
Yeah, he did run that for it too. A quick Shador note. They were talking about Shador and asking on some show, and they asked about a comp, and I just wanted to say, accurate Geno Smith, huh? More of an athlete. I mean, they both look like they got titties when they run. Say again.
Maybe that's not a bad comp passing wise.
Nah, I mean, now don't get me wrong though. Geno can fling that bitch. But anyways, I don't have anything else in football. Oh, unless you want to talk about the dumpster fire in Cincinnati.
It's a. I mean that it is what it is. Like
You know what they should do? If they want to take their franchise to the next level, they should buy out Rich McKay. I
I don't think that's gonna do anything good.
think it helps us. You're muffled. Now you're good.
Arthur won't really know what to do.
Maybe he can trust his staff that he hired.
They can already say they've been doing that anyways. That's what they've been saying, right?
Yeah, I mean the staff that didn't want to hire Belichick and Lombardi.
Yeah, those guys
I hope UNC rips off 11 wins this year.
pissed that they're not doing the hard knocks.
I am I was shocked when I saw it and I said, Bill didn't know about this.
I think but Bill seems like because he's been in the media, he's been more acclimated. He was kind of ready for it. Like
I don't think he wants cameras in his building.
I think that they didn't agree because they said it was creative control. They didn't agree. Bill said we're going to do it my way or we're not doing it, and they were like, "Well, then we're not doing it." He's like, "Okay, then."
Well, or he probably told UNC, we're doing this my way or I'm not doing it. And if you choose not to do it my way, I will leave. He's
He's
kind
going
of
to do
like
that anyways.
he's like Bubba Sparks. I don't need you, but you need me.
He's going to do that anyways. everybody knows once we found out how the contract was set up, it's $1 million buyout after this year. This thing is set up for him to where if the right NFL offer comes, he's gone.
Hey, did you see the coaching staff?
I did. Obviously, Kitchens as the OC was pretty big standout. Freddie Kitchens getting back in the saddle, but
Here's the thing: 2 Belichick's and 1 Lombardi on the staff.
yeah, and yeah, okay, and yeah, I saw Lombardi's. I didn't know that. That's his kid, right?
Yeah, it's his son. It's his younger son.
Yeah, I did
He
see
has
that
one in
too.
the league. He has one in the league. He got caught up in that whole Josh McDaniels affair. Yeah, he was Josh's OC.
Lombardi's kid was a quarterbacks coach for the longest.
Yeah, they're
He's
on the
with the Saints, wasn't he?
one of them was. I don't know. Both of them have been in the league. I don't know which was which. But yeah. It would be so funny and he would come on the pod and just rip the Raiders like when McDaniels was there. But then he got so much worse after they left because he was like, "What does Antonio Pierce know about running an organization?" I mean, what does Josh McDaniels know? He watched it firsthand, and every time he got a chance to, he just fucking shit down his leg. Give me the guy who's a bad real estate investor.
Yeah, they were never contending, or not. I tell you what, that's not even talking about contend. They were never building something.
Nah, they were just selling tickets. You want to talk some NBA now?
Association. And this is where we should add in the especially with NBC coming back. As soon as you said you want to get to the NBA,
That's completely.
Like, oh, yeah,
Hold on. Where's?
it's ridiculous. It's obvious.
I just wanted to find which one that was. Did you see Boogie on Gills Arena with McCants?
I did. I actually did get to watch it finally.
Real quick, Rashad McCants might be the worst NBA talker alive. And here's why. He's a Skip Bayless type that tries to hold players to this level of his favorite player, Skip, Michael, McCants, Kobe, that he misremembers the past, but then also misremembers that you yourself had the opportunity to have that work ethic or have that dog, and you didn't. So I don't want to hear you criticize somebody who's better at you than something that you did and wanted to do at a high level, or for McCants, did at a high level, but did not do it at a high level at the highest level. Like, I don't want to hear you shit on LeBron in the fourth quarter. McCants, you didn't play the last 4 minutes of games. You opened the fourth quarter. You
If
didn't get a
that.
second. Like, the nigga didn't get a second contract. Well, the year he averaged 15, I'm sure he was getting some minutes, but like, you did, bro.
On
You
a
didn't get a
bad Minnesota team.
terrible Minnesota team,
Yeah.
but you didn't get a second contract. Do
If
you
they
know
were
how
taken
shitty,
right, actually, he wouldn't have been playing in those minutes. But go ahead.
do you know how shitty you have to be as a human being? Get it. Granted, he had microfracture surgery, but as a college champion, a 20-point per game guy out of college, a top prospect coming into college, for you not to get a second contract in the NBA, you were a problem inside the organization. You pissed all the right people off. And he dated a Kardashian back in the time where that wasn't a good thing. And apparently, what's my man's name from Minnesota? Good footwork. Mikhail wasn't rocking. Yeah, you're not using words right now. Now you were then.
Oh, of course. As soon as I
It's like
said
when
damn
I
it.
tell you and you say like "damn it," the words come out and then you adjust and then they don't come out. Pause. Are you froze or just looking at me like you're a dick?
They're coming down.
Huh? What'd you say?
Coming
All I heard was "by now." You're muffled, but I can hear you. Still muffled, but I can hear you.
I want to be perfect.
I can hear you now. You're perfect.
Okay, all right, great. I said text messages were coming down, but because JP just said the Grizzlies are beating the Thunder tonight, and then he said, "Source, trust me, bro," which is funny because I thought that they were going to win tonight too, but just by chance, in a sense that they almost have to, and so. But that's irrelevant. I mean, I know we're talking association, but that's irrelevant to this conversation.
Fuck mechanics. Let's get to the actual association. LeLuka.
LeLuka.
I put LeLuka because that's just easier for me to say with my lisp. I have a speech impediment.
LeLuka.
It's
Or
cooking.
what? Actually, they're calling it Bronchich.
Somebody
That's what
white.
that's what ESPN uses.
The interns made that up. That shit ain't fly. Like
Yeah, I
these
like
are the
LeLuka better.
yeah. Like whoever made that up, they go out in Connecticut. They don't go to New York on the weekends.
So you're saying they're still stuck in their college creative think tank mode?
They're not outside. They're not touching earth. They're not grounded. You know, they don't walk outside in the grass barefoot to just feel earth sometimes.
They're losers. They don't
They've
fuck
probably never
bitches.
smoked.
That's really what you're saying.
They've probably never smoked a cigarette.
No, they just don't fuck bitches. That's really
Have you
what
ever
this is.
smoked a cigarette?
Not a full one, but yeah, I've definitely smoked a cigarette before.
You know what? I remember I was at a party at Southern Poly.
Southern Polytech.
Yeah.
Okay.
A guy I knew from high school went there. Not a guy I knew from high school. Dude, I'm actually pretty cool with. We went to elementary, middle, and high school together, played baseball together for years and stuff. And some chicks went to high school with hit me up and was like, yeah, you should come down. So I drive down. I'm hanging out with this just really gorgeous blonde, not blonde, brunette. She's just really cool. I wonder what she's up to these days. But kind of like earthy, but not like annoyingly earthy. And we're sitting there talking, and she's like, "You want a cigarette?" I was like, "Yeah, fuck it." Pulled out an American Spirit. Oh, it was just so fitting. Earthy white chick smoking American Spirits. You know, you can go. I can go down memory lane sometimes too.
Yeah, American Spirit. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I've hit my fair share of I hate cigarettes because I hate the way they smell. They smell so bad, and like
Oh, yeah.
it's like I never have. And everybody always says, of course, cancer, this, that, and the third. But like, I just never. They don't taste good either. Like, I mean, like it'd be one thing. I think that's why, like, for instance, like anyone that will do any type of nicotine, these vapes and stuff. It's not tobacco. Like, yeah, nicotine's in it, of course, and there's still other stuff, but it isn't really. It's not a cigarette. Like, it's not. So, like, I feel
No,
like that's what makes it so much more appealing to anyone that does want to even somewhat smoke. And like, I don't smoke weed, obviously, as you know. Like, I
yeah,
will smoke weed, but I don't smoke weed. And so, like, you know, cigarettes are just a derivative in a weird way of that because there's some people that won't smoke weed too that will smoke cigarettes. But like, I don't know. I've never been into cigarettes. They've never been something I was interested in. They stink. It's offensive around other people to be smoking it. Like, you know what I
bro.
mean? Like
Dog, when I lived in San Diego, I was like the most closeted cigarette smoker ever. Now, when I was in
cigarette or black and milds.
no cigarette, I had a cigarette phase in San Diego too. So I had a
Oh,
cigarette phase when I was in Virginia because I lived in the barracks and I did like I'm not smoking a whole black in just every sitting. You know what I mean? And because I didn't have my own crib to like put it out and sit it there till I wanted it again, I was like, well, shit, man, I still want my fix. So I went to cigarettes. And I had a cigarette phase in college too. So I was like a smooth cigarette smoker for like a good year and a half, and I'm at the bars just choking down Newports.
Never even smoked cigarettes. I was drunk. I've never just like smoked them sober ever.
Yeah, I didn't start sober, but and then when I moved to San Diego, I never smoked cigarette like when I was smoking cigarettes. I never smoked cigarettes before I went out. And then when I quit the cigs and went back to the blacks, I wouldn't smoke the blacks. Like I remember smoking a black one day on my way to work, and then somebody was like, "Hey, you smoke?" Like, yeah. And after that, I was like, we just smoke at home. So I'd get tanked and fucking smoke a ciggy when I got to the house, or smoke a black when I got to the house. Now, if I'm Snapchat renting, the blacks is there. You already know. You know me back in the day. But now I don't smoke none of that shit, man. Fuck it. It's bad for you.
Vapes. It's something that
Yeah,
I've
you
like
are vaping.
considered. Yeah, I will vape. And so like the thing is though, I've thought about just completely dropping that cold turkey because I can. Like I've done it at a phase over this summer. I went like a whole month. So it's not that I can't do it. I can I don't have to have it. Like I prefer to have it, but like I don't have to. I'm not addicted. How about that? That's like the biggest place to put it because typically people that are smokers are addicted to smoking. Like, but I can put that down. I can put down alcohol too, but like at the same time,
You can pick it
I don't know.
back up.
You said who?
Said you can put it down, but you can pick it back up.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. It really isn't essential.
I know my hopsecutioner.
Yeah. I wish I had a
Uh,
beer. Damn it.
hey, let's talk some hoops though, man. Oh yeah, we were talking about the Lakers. LeBron's
LeLuka.
25. LeBron's 25, 8, 9. Is he making a legitimate? And I know he's not going to win it, but is he going to get some second, third place MVP votes? If they end up as the second or third seed and it's tight, is he first team All NBA at 40?
He 100% finishes top three. Like I don't know who's your third vote. We know who one and two are, but who's your third vote? Is it Giannis? Really?
It should be Donovan Mitchell, but it won't.
Yeah, it's not going to be him. And so,
They're actually about to lose too.
um, yeah, I like him to be first team, and I like him to finish top three. Those aren't hot takes at all. Like,
I don't,
there's no way that you could. They just when they put up, he got Western Conference Player of the Month. He was averaging 30, 10, and 6. On 55% from the field and 44% from three. And I think the overall record because they had to include obviously even before the trade and stuff. The overall record was something like 12 and like 3. It was something. And argue with that. They show well, I don't think it was Christmas Day, but at some point in December, mid-December, they were in 10th and now they're second and they've won 15 of their last 20. They're playing great ball. Um, Even with the change, everything has went well. The JJ Redick hire looks a lot better because he's able to adjust on the fly with what it is that they're doing with the lineups that they have. They found a really good groove with the guys they have. They got Vando back, which I think made possibly that trade with AD just a little bit easier because of his defensive prowess as a player. Like,
and you know what? Bando looks like he's gained some good weight.
and he fits under. He's not like Draymond, but I'm saying he fits. He's a guy. He's a chirper, right? Like he
He's a
will talk,
chirper.
and he
He
he kind of,
fouls.
but he's gonna be tough. Yeah, like
Yeah. He's
yeah. So
ugly.
like yeah, like you know what I mean. And he's one of those dudes too. Because what's Vando 6'9"?
Yeah.
So he not guarding Jokic like for a
No, but
game. He's not. But you can put
He
him
can
in
play.
for spurts,
He
like
can play.
on that nigga.
He can play small ball 5.
Yeah, and then you still have LeBron who can, to a degree, play a small ball 5.
Well,
Like
and
depend.
LeBron's playing defense.
That's another thing. His defense, Luka's playing better defense, like than what he typically does. Like they look better defensively, and I mean, give JJ Redick is not getting enough credit, and I know that it's two generational talents, but JJ's not getting enough credit coming from the school of Krzyzewski and everything. And this being his first year or two, that people fail to realize he ain't never coached. He deserves a lot of credit too for what's going on.
But people were rooting against JJ because he was hated at Duke. He ended up being a good NBA player when we thought he wouldn't be. Then he's like probably the
I think he was pretty good as an analyst.
I didn't even got there yet. I'm saying then he becomes an analyst, and he might be. He and Gilbert Arenas were fighting for best two people talking basketball. Yeah, X's and O's. Like when Gilbert starts doing his extra shit, like you gotta block that out. But when you're actually talking about X's and O's, locker room, coach to player, like the stuff that the media can't not explain, they haven't been a part of it. And I think that's not to glaze Gill. That's what makes him probably the best voice talking, because he became a star, but he was not like a crown star. He had to actually earn it. And then he had to fall from grace. And then he got to be the OG guy. And then he was like, you know what? I'm going to keep getting playing time over these young boys who are better than me. But because I'm Gilbert Arenas, I got enough money. I'm getting out the league.
In the league with LeBron, Kobe, like in this era of guys that we all know. Like
Yeah,
Kenny's obviously great with X's and O's and stuff too, but Kenny was never an all-star.
the
Like
role player.
Gilbert was one of the best players in the NBA at one point. Kenny's been doing it for so long. That's why he gets these GM interviews and stuff. But Kenny knows what he's talking about too, right? And he's also in a more buttoned up
Yeah, but
kind of.
he's on TV. He's just on TV, and he may do some pods here and there, but you're not getting a daily dose, Paul, of Kenny just talking ball. You know what I mean? So
You know, who's a good. Wait, real quick. You know, who's a good storyteller because he's a former Gilbert teammate. Uh, Brendan Haywood. I think I sent you like a clip
yeah,
of
you did.
Brendan
Yeah, no,
Haywood.
about Deion Waiters. Yeah, he's a great storyteller.
Yeah, he's good. He's really good. I like Brendan Haywood.
Also, Jeff Teague is very high
He's
on that
he's
list.
another good one. Yeah.
He breaks down basketball very well. And what I like about a Jeff Teague and the Gilbert Arenas, these are niggas who are selfish. And they will tell you what players actually think. Bro, don't nobody really care what Perk has to say unless he's telling '08 Celtic stories, because they were a bigger dynasty than Bill Russell. Like
And Paul Pierce is that they don't really break it down. They're just like Matt Barnes and Stack, right? Those are more replicatable.
they're telling the
Like,
stories.
yeah, they're not really breaking down film and talking
Yeah.
basketball.
Well, Paul Pierce isn't watching enough film to break it down appropriately.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he's fucking whores.
I don't know what he's doing,
No,
but
he's fucking whores. That's why he's on FS1, because there was one on the show that they added him to. He's fucking whores. That's why ESPN
man,
fired him. He was fucking whores. Like that's why they
well,
fired him. And he wanted
it was
everybody to know I'm fucking whores.
and was confused about why he got fired. You work for
Who's out here fucking people? But
Disney. But anyways, why isn't Donovan Mitchell or even Jason Tatum in the MVP conversation? More specifically, Donovan Mitchell, because they got the best record in the league. He's the best player on that team. He's carrying them. Like, why isn't he in the conversation? Is it because You don't think so?
No, the two All Stars played on the Cavs this year. I think that certainly the Celtics only had one, but like the same guy that's the other All Star was a dude that won Finals MVP. Neither of these guys are they're not really carrying the team. He's got an Olympic teammate. Jason Tatum has another Olympic, the second best, or in some cases, some people think Jalen Brown's the best player. The
They're wrong.
Okay, the third best player was on the Olympic team too. So like it's gonna always be hard.
Fifth best was too.
He has to have an
Oh,
exceptional season, nigga.
you
Like
forgot the fifth best player was on the Olympics too. Derek White.
making him the third best.
No, J.
Not,
Rue was the second. Was the
oh
third.
shit. I forget about but he's been hurt now. He's missed a couple games. But
Yeah. But like, hey, what we're not gonna do is we're not gonna forget about J. Rue.
I'm not. But all right, he's got two Olympic teammates and a finals MVP. So he'll never be in that discussion unless he has a 30, 10, and 7 season. Like he's just not gonna be included. So there's his. We can dismiss him. We don't even talk about the Celtics. With Donovan Mitchell, the thing is too, he's got three teammates that have made the All-Star team. Because what's his face did make it this year, right?
Mobley.
Yeah,
Jared Allen made it in Cleveland, and Garland.
And so did Garland. Garland's made it twice now. He's got 3 All-Star teammates technically. And then they've added DeAndre Hunter, who at the time was second in 6 Man of the Year.
Wrestler, sell the team. Wrestler. Hey, hey, Kathy family.
Step up.
Put your nuts on the table and buy the Hawks and the Falcons.
We can change it from State Farm to Dwarf House Arena too, and it'll have a ring to it.
I love it.
And then we can keep Mercedes Benz as the name because the Benz just sounds a little sexy.
Yeah.
But they can put Chick-fil-A into State Farm, and look, very rarely do they have Sunday games, so now you're selling more product. And look, niggas will eat a chicken sandwich at a basketball game. I promise you.
Oh boy, on God. You know what else?
$8 a pop, and they eat selling chickens.
You know what, Parlay? Hey, you got 2 chains? Are we selling them birds?
Deuce or Tony, right? They call this nigga Tony.
Or hey, Braves ownership group, y'all come in as minority owners if the Cathys ain't got the cash. But the point being, we want the Cathys running the operation.
Oh, the Cathys have the cash. They got the cash. They could do one of them. They could definitely do one of them.
Yeah. The Cathys have a culture in their organization.
Yeah.
They do not deviate from their culture. I'm not saying I'm 100% aligned with their culture, but it's close enough. And I love the fact that they stand on business. Chick-fil-A, you are not getting a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on Sunday. It's not happening. You're not getting a frozen chicken sandwich. That is fresh chicken delivered daily that they season and batter and fry and put in between those 2 buttered pieces of bread with some pickle that we eat.
Lemonade.
Bro, these niggas had waffle fries before niggas knew fries could be waffled. Bro, your mom and daddy never made no waffle fries. They weren't buying waffle fries at the grocery store. Nigga, you went to Chick-fil-A because you wanted the waffle fries.
Yeah, you getting crinkle. I mean, obviously now they kind of do the, Ore-Ida does the McDonald's style ones. Because I don't want to call them shoestring because shoestrings are different. Shoestring is more like steak and shake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but the restaurant style, I don't know what the fuck they call them, McDonald's style fries, but McDonald's style, that's what the fuck I call them.
Hey, when you look at the package, you go, yeah, let me get the McDonald's fries.
Yeah, because they basically supposed to taste the same, but they
don't.
They're not frying them in that beef fat, man. That's what they be throwing in that grease.
Ain't nobody doing fries like McDonald's.
Sorry. they're just different. But that's what the golden arches, nigga. That's what makes McDonald's. Like,
dog,
it ain't the Big Mac, it's the fries, nigga. Like
this shit's crack.
Yeah, one day we'll do one of these, especially during the summer when it's a lot slower. McDonald's fries. If we did a March Madness type bracket, they're gonna win.
Yeah,
They will always win for me. Those are the best fries. I know there's
bro.
some people that like Checkers fries. Arby's got the curlies, which are good, but like niggas don't go to Arby's even just to get the fries. Like I'm never pulling up to Arby's to be like, man, let me get a medium fry or a
Well,
large
you're
fry.
not. Well, for one, you're not pulling up to Arby's.
I'm just not going to Arby's though. That's what I'm saying. Like
Dog, I went to Arby's while I was living in Albany, right? And somebody had posted the Wagyu
burger.
Arby's burger, and I was like, bro, how was it? It was like, honestly, it's not that bad. You should try it. So I actually went and tried it. And I ended
Smack.
up getting some curly. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
I ain't gonna hold you. Yeah, that shit smacked.
But they don't do it. That's like an on and off thing too. Like that's not something they sell
Yeah,
consistently.
because what I don't want a roast beef sandwich and like off brand Polynesian sauce.
Yeah. Like, nigga,
Hey, nigga,
I'm gonna go to Publix and if I want roast beef,
I'm
I'll
going
make
to
it
Jersey
myself,
Mike.
goddamn it. Or I'll just make it my goddamn self. I'm not
If I want roast beef in between bread, I'm going. That's crazy. Roast beef in between bread. I'm going to Jersey Mike's. Pause, because I said I want roast beef and bread from a man. Yeah, that's pause. Yeah, that's pause.
cheese steak. The fuck I'm gonna get it chopped up with some cheese. Like
Hey, when the last time you been to Barrow?
Barrow.
Sabero, I don't know the name. You say that piece of shit.
Sabero, the pizza place. Man, never. Like low key. It's been a lot. Like I remember one of the first times I went to New York as a kid, we got it at LaGuardia. Nigga, I tell you what, in Georgia, I was more, you remember Fazoli's?
Yeah, they're still
So
around.
yeah, I know that they're in like niche fucking
Bro,
areas though.
hey, there's one in Cartersville. I've never been, but there's one here.
They do really good frozen lemonades. That was one thing I always remembered about them. But like,
They put vodka in it.
nah,
I
just
don't want it.
sweet. It's a sweet treat, man. Come
I
on.
don't want no
For the
sweet treat.
kids. It's for the kids.
I'm 33.
A frozen lemonade. I mean, look, I've always gotta have vodka and shit. If I want a sweet treat, it's just like getting candy.
I like
Because
my candy.
I don't eat ice cream. So like for me, that is the good shit. Like a
Shit,
slushy. It's like a
look,
slushy.
we were on the phone last night, and I went to the gas station to get candy.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. It's just like getting candy. If there was a Fazoli's around here, I'm not gonna say I'd go there to just like eat necessarily, but I would stop there to get a frozen lemonade. Yeah. Those niche places don't exist, but they don't exist everywhere anymore. Kind of like Fuddruckers. Like Fuddruckers used to be like a staple to go sit down for me, but like
What about Flood Puckers?
never been there.
On Jamie Foxx.
I didn't watch it.
Bro, you didn't watch Jamie Foxx.
I did not. True story. I never really watched Martin either.
You need to do your research, man. I didn't watch Martin till college. Like Sharon wasn't going for Martin Lawrence. I watched Jamie Foxx as a kid, but then I went back and watched it as an adult, and that shit is just so funny. It might be the best black sitcom.
Obviously,
Say
the
it,
Fresh Prince
yeah, you watch Fresh Prince.
and Cosby Show.
Were you a Good Times kid? My mom, hey,
Wasn't I couldn't tell you specific episodes. Like I could tell you episodes of the Fresh Prince and the Cosby Show.
my mom was not into me watching the poor black shows. She didn't want me. She didn't want me to see that as like an image of reality. So that like I was a Bill Cosby, a Fresh Prince, like that's kind of what was pumped through the house because like I want you to look at black prosperity, Family Matters. They weren't rich, but they were. They lived a good life. Now Eddie Winslow. He's a bad boy. But hey, let's talk about another bad boy.
Well, he's a bad boy for life if you let the stories be true. But go ahead.
Carl. He was naughty too.
Oh, look, didn't Chappelle have that in his monologue on SNL?
You know, if you listen to that
And
type of stuff.
he had heard Carl Winslow was getting smashed, and he's like, maybe I'm ugly. He's like, because Carl Winslow is getting invited to the parties, but not me. It's a good point.
Hey, so we talked about the Lakers a little bit earlier. Let's talk about the team that they did business with. And you know, Dallas, Klay Thompson's looking like Will Smith waiting on Lou and the family. I can't watch that episode, by the way. It triggers my childhood trauma. But Dallas, Kyrie tore his ACL. They're saying Anthony Davis isn't going to play anymore. I doubt Gafford or Lively really come back because what's the point? Kyrie's a free agent. Nico Harrison is DeMar Hamlin. He might be Joe Theismann because this guy may not work in his business again, unless he's talking about it. And rumors are that the owners are trying to tank the value of the franchise to decrease revenue. They're also jacking up ticket prices to try to influence the state of Texas to change its gambling laws so they can build a casino to fund the team and then also take the players' money so they get a higher percentage of their money back to then reinvest. And then another conspiracy theory is maybe Nico's gonna make a move for KD this summer. He's gonna be an expiring. There may not be a bidding war for him because he may say, "Hey, I'm not gonna extend." They may get him for pennies on the dollar. I don't know. I don't even know if I believe this thought, but it's something that I heard today, and I just wanted to bring this whole Dallas shit show here. You know, a team that went. I mean, both teams who made it to the Western Conference Finals kind of just blew up their rosters, and now they'll. I mean, Dallas is trying to plant their flag for Coop, and if we're being honest, and you're coming in and out, boss.
They're gonna have to hope that they're the Hawks of how the Hawks were last year.
Yeah, and I mean, the Timberwolves, they're just going to get in the play in and get put out in the first round.
Exactly. And so they're in a tough spot. I can't imagine how much worse a whole month, because when did that trade happen? Was that the start of February?
Yeah,
Has any team ever had a worse month of sports ever? I know Gafford and Lively were, well, Gafford got hurt last month too. Lively was already out, but I mean, does it really get? And then the fact that Luca's cooking, like Luca looks great. Luca had a 35 or 30-15 in like 7 game yesterday. Like,
I can't think of a team that's had that many things go wrong to both affect their short term and their long term in that small of a span of time. Yeah, so it's unfortunate what's going on there in Dallas, but I'll tell you what it tells me is the NBA is about to become the NFL. These supermaxes ain't happening. That second apron is real. Teams are going to start using that second apron as a hard cap unless they feel like they are this close to winning a championship. And with the player empowerment movement has done, the way LeBron used his power, I don't think it had negative effects on the league. His individual actions did not have negative effects on the league long term. But I think the trickle downs of like the KD's making his decisions that didn't necessarily work out well, the Jimmy Butlers, the Kyries, the James Hardens, the Ben Simmons, Paul George, like Joel Embiid, like a lot of these guys who aren't LeBron and trying to use their influence, the owners are taking the power back. And I think the contracts moving forward are going to start looking different. And there might only be 5 super maxes out there. And to be honest with you, I think that's the right answer, right? I think you should have super maxes available for every team if the player meets that whatever the criteria for a super max. But I don't think that just because you're a max player and you stay with your home team, you should just the standard should be you get the super max. Like John Wall should not have gotten a super max. Bradley Beal should not have gotten a super max. Rudy Gobert should not have gotten a super max. Russell Westbrook in OKC deserved the super max based on who he was to that team, to that market, and to that franchise, to where like that money makes sense even if you're not going to win a championship. Huh? Yeah, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they deserve their super maxes. They won a championship. They've been good. They've been a championship contender damn near every year they've been in the league together.
The only people that are going to get the Supermax are going to be the guys that are loyal
and good.
And good. Right. You're not going to get the Supermax if you're solid.
Book might not get a Supermax.
Realize now we can't build around him as the one to win. And that's just the truth. Let's just keep it real. You've given him, he kind of did it with Chris Paul, but like
he wasn't the one. Chris Paul was the leader of that team. Devin Booker was just
he was the straw. He was the straw. He started the drink, not you. And now we've given you a player greater than you, not better necessarily. I would say better, but greater, but no doubt greater. And we're in mediocrity. Fuck no.
And we brought in a guy who we thought was your equal to maybe slightly lesser. Book has a scoring title. I mean, not Book. Bradley Beal has a scoring title.
Yeah.
He scored 30 on a bad team. That's hard.
Yeah, which is what Book was doing, right? Like before Chris Paul got there, Book had a 70-point game, right? So like,
and lost.
But that's the point. He's just not a guy that you can build. Just like the Wizards realized that early too. That's why they got rid of him. They're like, oh man, it doesn't matter. We're not going to get free agents to DC,
which is weird.
And we're not going to be able to. Well, because they're expecting somebody like a KD to come home, right? Like that would be that's like your biggest hope. Like
only home he's going back to is OKC. KD for Chet and some picks. Send it in.
You know, I tossed that around to you. Pause. I did. But what I told you, I said trade Jalen Williams instead, just straight up, and not just make it a straight up trade. How would that look? For right now, to win right now, I'd like that.
I want to keep J-Dub.
I'd trade him. If it's a straight up deal and it was not at the All-Star. I mean, I guess you could have did it at the All-Star break, but like before the season had started, after what you saw happen against Dallas, KD's got 2 or 3 more years of this in him. As long as he's healthy. He's got this in him still.
If you're Phoenix, who would you rather have? Chet and picks or J-Dub straight up?
Well, the picks, it depends on what the picks are that OKC's sending.
Fair. I would want a deal with picks because Phoenix has no picks.
Well, right. They need the picks. That's true too.
Hey, one day we should just go to FedEx Forum and catch a game. No, I don't really. I just want to say
do you have the game on?
Yeah.
What's the score?
It hadn't started yet.
Oh.
Cleveland just came back and won to a ragtag Miami team.
Yeah, Wiggins. Oof. I mean, he's living the life. He's got to be at this point.
He might be too corny. He might just be.
He's from Canada. I mean, so it's like
Let me see.
but he's already got a ring. He's gotten paid multiple really good contracts. He's the number one pick. Andrew Wiggins is honestly done for a guy that's a number one pick. That
He's
because
done
if
his
you're a number
job.
one, yeah, and he's never been an all star. Like
He was. Yeah, he
he's
was. He was that 1 year.
with Minnesota,
No, with
with
Golden
Golden
State.
State.
Yeah,
Damn, he made it 1 year. The year they won.
I believe so. But yeah, he made one All Star, and
I
it
mean,
looked
he
nasty.
he was a 25, 26 a night guy one of those years in Minnesota. But
He was All Star 2022. See, I'm pulling up his stats right now.
that's the year they won. Yeah, that's the year
Yeah,
they won.
his third year in Minnesota, he averaged 23.6. His last year in Minnesota, he was averaging 22.4 before he got traded. Bro, this nigga made an All Star.
This
This
past
nigga made
year.
Hold on, this nigga made an All Star game averaging 17. That's disgusting.
Wait, was 23-6 was that his highest scoring year?
23.6, yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize Colin had a higher scoring year than him in the NBA. That's crazy. Um, Interesting, but yeah, he's living the life. He's got multiple $100 million deals in different parts of how maxes were given out. He's gotten two separate ones. He's been the face kind of a team. He's got to play
Buckets
with the
face.
great like Steph. He's won a ring. Now he's in Florida. Uh, and he still has room for another. He'll get another $100 million deal. Somehow I'll give him a 5-year 100 to end it out.
Good for them. I wouldn't.
20 a year. That's
I,
not bad for a guy like him. He's still
I,
worth 20 a year.
I just wouldn't. I wouldn't want him that long. Pause.
If he's your fourth option,
Fair.
because he might be 30.
He is not. I don't think he shouldn't be. He is. He is 30. He turned 30 last week.
Yeah. So he's got one more contract in him, like one more good one. And if he gets into Miami, I don't know if that's what they'll do, but like
I doubt it.
I mean, yeah, he could go to a team like shit, Utah will pay him.
Hey! We're talking way too much Andrew Wiggins. I'm trying to get to KD, the Suns, and where they're going. And you want to talk about fucking Andrew Wiggins?
Well, he came up in the conversation.
I mean, he came up, but you don't want to watch him play basketball, right?
No, I don't. No.
So why would we talk about him? No one wants to listen to us talk about a player that nobody wants to watch but his parents.
KD to the Mavs. I don't see it happening.
No. I'm not even. Let me set it up.
KD to the Thunder.
We saw KD and Bud get into it yesterday. They show it on TNT. But what they didn't show was the reconciliation after they got into it. And then KD came out and addressed it in the media. He was like, yeah, we're competitive. We got into it. That's what competitors do. Like, he has a way of seeing it. I have a way of seeing it. As a veteran player, he allows me to do certain things and we get to discuss it. But like, which I didn't show was at the end where we were patting each other on the back and hitting each other in the chest and like, we're good. It was just heat of the moment. But the media tried to blow it. KD and Bud going at it like it was something. And it was nothing. And with it being nothing, I'll tell you, it's this unfortunate thing that happens in the media sometimes is that they try to make a story out of nothing. And controversy sells, just like sex sells. So it's much easier as a NBA media outlet to highlight negativity. And this is why I think a lot of the players come out and they discuss the negativity and they talk about how it makes them feel and how they don't like it and how you guys aren't covering the game the right way. Because yes, could we highlight that Kevin Durant and Bud got into it? Sure. But could the question be, hey, Kevin, we saw you and Coach Budenholzer get into it. Then after the fact, y'all, y'all dapped it up. Is there anything to see there? or is it just y'all in the heat of battle? But somebody who's actually been in the heat of battle would understand that those things happen. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't like to play at my 33-year-old age, right? And the rec sports that I play as an adult, I don't like to play with my friends. Pause. I don't like to play against my friends. Why? Because I can become uberly competitive, and I can talk crazy, and I can and talk. Bro, I talk shit because I'm trying to get an edge. I don't want to do that with people that I care about because I don't know where they're gonna take it. And when you're not actually competing for something but the sake of competition, shit talking can go a little bit differently because you're like, "Oh, yeah, it's just a game, but how much of a game is it really? Because what does this game matter?" But in that, this story explains the disconnect between the NBA players and the NBA media and the NBA fans. Now, I haven't listened to any traditional media discuss Kevin Durant and Bud getting into it. I only listened to players talk about it. And the players said it was nothing. So to me, it's nothing. But someone trying to sell a story, someone trying to get clicks, somebody trying to get subscriptions, someone trying to generate ad revenue for their company or the company that they work for, they're going to turn this story into something much larger than it is. Then what they don't realize is this could infiltrate a locker room, this could infiltrate an organization and create issues. And because these things we've seen historically have happened and continue to happen, there creates the mistrust between the player and the media. And when there's mistrust, the media loses access. So when the media loses access, they lose context, they lose direct quotations, they lose, hey, I'm telling a story that I may not make somebody I know look good, but because I want to preserve this relationship, I'm going to tell the truth, but I'm going to tell it truthfully, but I'm going to keep it respectful. And I'm also going to have a conversation with them so they can see and know what is being discussed before it even happens. That's how we preserve the relationships. Now, as a media person, you can't, just because you like a player, just because you have a relationship with a player, doesn't mean you shouldn't be honest about a player. To the media, just because you like a media person, don't like a media person, whatever the case may be, you should give them honesty when discussing things with them. But more importantly, you shouldn't be offended or bothered or upset with that individual if they say something about you that you may not like or that is negative, but it's true. Or from their perspective, it is true. From the information they have, given their context, right? It's true to them. That's how it should work. But it doesn't work like that, and it becomes us versus them. And unfortunately, the us versus them mentality has us confused on what's actually going on because we have all this information coming out from all these different sources, and it's the same topic being covered differently. And it's like, who do I believe? I've trusted this writer, I've trusted this talking head for so many years, but then I hear the player come out, or a player who was involved, or somebody who talked to the player come out and talk about it, and it's totally different. And then the seeds that the traditional media will paint was, well, they're just trying to protect their legacy. They don't really understand how these things are viewed. Well, I may not understand how it's viewed from your perspective, but I understand how it's viewed in the trenches. Because see, you're not in the trenches, you know? And the wild thing is if on both sides we started to build true relationships, whether it's players in traditional media, players in non-traditional media, the guys in the media who are so made that they don't have to work the beat and stuff like that. But if you actually start to build these relationships and you allow these players to tell their stories, or you tell them for them truthfully, guess what? We get a better picture of what's going on. And not only that, you traditional media talking heads would be less threatened by the players intruding on your space because they wouldn't feel the need to come into your space if you had been telling the truth, right? If you had been covering them in a way that was fair, if you weren't just writing stories, throwing conjecture out there just because you know it gets attention. See, because it's an ecosystem. It's a one big happy family. And if we all work together, we all eat. But the second that there's a little disconnect between us and there's fracturing, we don't eat as much. If you're the media, you eat less when there's more players providing direct media, a direct to consumer content. Why? Because you get less clicks, you get less views, you become less valuable, and you have more competition who maybe get more attention than you. Why? Bigger name, closer to the actual events that are happening. Some might be better at speaking than you, maybe more entertaining. So some of these jobs y'all thought y'all had at these networks, you can't get. You got to go start your own podcast or go work under somebody else's brand because guess what? These players are so profitable that they get to come in and take your job. That's what happens when you don't work together. Players, if you shut the media out too much and they're always bashing you or they're not talking about you at all, they're talking about something else. Less endorsements. Why? Less people are consuming you. Your league may make less money because the media rights deal isn't as high. You understand what I'm saying? Because the companies don't want to pay as much money to cover your to have the exclusive rights to your product. It's a happy family. It's a happy family. So instead of fighting each other at Thanksgiving, let's give gifts at Christmas so everybody eats. Speaking of a team and eating, let's get to the Philadelphia 76ers here. You talk about a dumpster fire on fire. That is the Philadelphia 76ers. Going into, they've been in this process for 10 years? Made some bad draft picks. The obvious ones, taking Markelle Fultz over Lonzo Ball and Jason Tatum, more specifically Jason Tatum. You were in the one spot. You could have drafted him one. Life would have been different. Choosing Ben Simmons over Brandon Ingram or Jaylen Brown. I'm not saying in hindsight they're obviously wrong, but in the moment, you just never know. Ben Simmons was a highly touted prospect coming out of LSU. Who's great, really good, but he also didn't make the tournament. He wasn't eligible at one point because his grades were or he wasn't eligible for postseason awards because his GPA was so low. Not that should matter, but it tells you, it can tell you something. I thought Brandon Ingram was just a better player coming out because of what he could do. But, Jaylen Brown became who he became, and you could have had the Celtics core right there on Philly with Embiid. But anyways, they come into the year. They signed Paul George. Paul George gets hurt in preseason. Joel Embiid was obviously hurt in the playoffs, obviously hurt in the Olympics, and started the season late. Said he wasn't going to play back-to-backs. A little side note on that. I am sick and tired of you media types out here bashing players for load management. It's not just the players. It is a team effort. The franchises are looking at their sleep patterns, looking at their practice hours, looking at their minutes to try to preserve their bodies. And honestly, I don't think it's working because we're seeing more injuries left and right. I don't know why we're seeing them. It's a combination of things. But anyways, right? So you have Embiid coming in hurt. You have Paul George who gets hurt early in the season. Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey show some promise. McCain, good-looking rookie, probably rookie of the year, out for the year. Maxey's been dinged up some and just hasn't been playing well. Embiid in and out of the lineup. Embiid's gone. Embiid's done for the season. Paul George is no longer podcasting, not playing well, probably should be done for the season too. Because I think
Maybe a
Paul George,
career.
huh?
I said maybe a career.
No, I think Paul George is
I'm fucking
is.
around, but
No, I just think Paul George is playing through the knee sprain, the hyperextended knee or whatever that happened at in the preseason. And he just hasn't gotten back healthy. And you tag that along with him being 33, 34 years old. Yeah, you lose a step. Imagine being a step slow with a gimpy leg. That's 2-3 steps slow. So Philly's in hell right now. And
let me tell you, they gotta look.
they got a clean house.
They gotta throw that thing away. Yeah, they gotta get. I mean,
Daryl Morey first. The liar.
Morey first. I don't even think Nurse is a bad coach. So I mean, and this is year 2 for him.
Yeah.
I mean, you can clean him out too at this point, but like at the same time, you got McCain, who you will have with him and Maxey. That looks like that could be your backcourt. You got to get as much as you can for Embiid. I mean,
That's probably what a 3-pack of Durex.
well, a team like OKC maybe would give you the all-time compensation draft low in Hartenstein, right? Like they could give you 5 first rounders in Hartenstein, and like you'd have to, and maybe you can get Isaiah Joe or Aaron Wiggins, or you know what I mean. They'll give you one of their guys too, but like
I'm gonna say Embiid's too hurt. He might not even play for us. I'm doing you a favor, so I ain't giving you shit.
well, they'll be able to get shit for him though. He still has won an MVP, goddamn it, and so he still will have worth, but at this point, you couldn't get what
Bro,
the
they're talking about medical retirement.
it's, yeah. But I feel like they brought that up. I mean, we just saw
Because
this nigga
Daryl Morey is an idiot and extended him this offseason. That was
he
stupid.
looked, and I know the Olympics are different, but he looked great in the fucking Olympics for that second half of the Olympic run.
He looked great in one game.
Yeah, the one game they needed him to be great, he was great.
Well, yeah, he looked great in that one game, but in the other games, he looked like he didn't belong.
No, he did. Like throughout group play, he was god awful actually, and everybody kept saying, "Well, why is AD and Bam just not playing? Like, why not just keep them in the game?" But
because they need to keep him engaged for when they play against Joker, because AD and Bam are too light in the ass to defend Joker.
even the first Joker match,
Huh?
He was fucking him.
Hove did.
Yeah, he was doing them good, and so they got to clean up. They're not going to be able to get rid of PG. PG is now in Brad Beal territory for contract wise, and maybe his is a little bit worse because I think he's slightly older than Beal.
Yeah, no, he's all like
And his is a fresh contract as
PG
opposed to Bill's is like 2 years in.
PG is high school class of 09.
Bill's my class. He's 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
PG has more years.
Yeah, he's older. Now, I guess the thing with Paul George is that he's definitely not it's almost like a slightly more I can make plays version of Klay Thompson at this point. Like that's kind of who Paul George is.
I'm telling you, I don't think that we can say who Paul George is until next season. He started the year with that big ass knee brace on.
He got hurt in the preseason game here.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, but like in his first game, he sat out a few games, but in his first game this year, he had on a brace. You don't get better after coming back as early as possible from an injury by playing basketball at the highest level. Now, if he would have came back with just a compression sleeve, you go, okay, they're monitoring the swelling and all of that stuff. But the brace, the big Embiid brace, and Paul George might be cooked. You may just be early to the party. I'm just saying I don't know if he's cooked yet because he came into the year injured. Had he came into the year healthy and he played like this, or there was no like reported injury, oh, that nigga's cooked. Get him off the grill. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up now. Medium well, we can tolerate. I mean, we don't want it, but I'm a medium rare guy. Like, hey, it's medium, but grab it. Because if it's well done, you might as well just keep it on the grill and just let it burn out, man. Fuck it. You're not coming in.
They'll be all right though. As a city, they just got their Super Bowl. Phillies are always certainly in it, I guess. But so as a city fan base, they can kind of fly under the radar with this bad shit because the Eagles are so good, because the Phillies are pretty good. So
Well,
they won't get they'll be the ass of the town, right? They're the butt of the joke. But they could do this seamlessly now, and they kind of almost have to.
here's the thing, man. Daryl Morey is flying under the radar. In all those years in Houston, he was praised as like a genius. Sloan Conference, this and that. He was like what basketball GMing is of the future. It's not working. It almost worked at one point in time, but you shot too many threes. It didn't work. But this right here, this is failing. And Daryl Morey should not be treated like Doc Rivers and continue to get second chances and better jobs. Doc Rivers at least won a ring, damn it.
The NBA is the only continue to have multiple lives because
No. It
it doesn't
happens in the
happen.
NFL. It happens in the NFL.
But it doesn't happen as often.
Shit.
Bro, fucking, I mean, Dimitrov, think about it. I know he left us in a bad cap shit, but you don't think he deserved a second chance? He was a GM here for a decade. Like,
But
he didn't deserve a second chance.
you gotta think about it. Dimitrov isn't taking a job as a number 2 man. He's only taking GM
Build
jobs.
himself back up.
Yeah, so instead of building like in with a lot of times in the league with these coaches, you'll see them sit on a bench for a year, and then boom, they're good.
It just in the NBA, it seems like it's way easier to get the second opportunity, and
I
so
I
and
think
this
for the
is
no
his technically his second opportunity. But think about it, they did that really to appease Harden a little. I mean, I don't know, or it was to get
no,
Harden.
I
Like
mean he became available because of the new ownership, and they didn't see eye to eye. And maybe part of it was appeasing Harden, but he was also a the best GM available, and other teams wouldn't have been crazy to fire their GMs to bring him in at that time.
perfect storm, basically. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. Like Daryl Morey, the way he left Houston, he didn't get fired for poor performance. Those guys get second jobs. Like
baseball GMs get second jobs too.
I don't follow baseball front offices. I don't follow baseball, if we're being honest. Yeah, we got nothing out of that one. Yeah, nah, we're
Oh,
getting
you can
nothing.
hear me.
No.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. All right. Double A, for instance, with the Braves.
You got 30 seconds on double A baseball.
Here, just real quick. He came from the Toronto Blue Jays. Blue Jays never won shit. Comes here, great. Same thing with the Cubs GM. He retired. I forgot his name. But he was the Cubs GM. Then he went to the Red Sox. He won a World Series in both places. I guess that's all I'm saying. So
Oh,
GMs, it's
TLFC.
yeah, it's normal in baseball. I feel like it happens probably more often there than anywhere. But the NBA specifically, I feel like there's a better chance. And then with the NFL, it doesn't happen as much. I mean, I
If you're
know
a
a
winning
guy like,
coach, yeah, winning coaches get second jobs.
well, but coaches, and that's the other part. Depending on what type of coach you are, you typically might be the GM. Like if Bill ever did coach in the NFL again, he's gonna want to put like he's gonna have control.
And that's why
Tom
he's not
Coughlin,
just in the NFL.
Tom Coughlin had been a GM, a coach GM with the Jaguars, right? Then he's the coach for the Giants, kind of has GM control, then goes back to the Jaguars, then is just the GM. He's an example. Think about it. He's a coach
But he
that
was
had
good.
that opportunity. Bill
But he was good.
Polian, Bill Polian,
He was
Bills,
good.
Colts.
He was
Yeah,
good.
exactly. They were great. But I'm saying
But
if you
like
just
you're
had a
talking,
good run, you might not get another chance. Like Thomas
it depends.
Dimitrov had a good run here. Like a culture got set here finally. Now it might be Rich McKay's culture, but it got set.
Yeah,
God damn it!
yeah.
I'm just
I think
saying it was.
I think the
We were
NBA.
the Falcons actually had a standard finally. Like we kind of had somewhat of an identity.
I don't think we had a standard. I don't think we had any of that stuff.
You don't
I
think during Dimitrov's
no,
time, yeah, we were
no,
a finesse team, but I'm just saying,
no.
like, we at least had somewhat of
Look,
an identity.
no, we had Matt Ryan. We had Matt Ryan. That's what we had.
But that's a part of it. New
Yeah, no,
coach, GM,
but
and
no,
quarterback.
we had Matt Ryan. Early to late prime Matt Ryan was the standard. Once he was no longer Matt Ryan, that standard has been in the fucking toilet. It's Matt Ryan. Huh? Yeah, that didn't come in. Is there anything else sports related you want to talk about? Yeah, we're getting nothing from you right now, man.
How about now?
Yeah, we're getting something.
All right. We went as far as the quarterback went, but that's it for me on sports.
Anything pressing in culture? What do I have written down? Zoe Saldana had that controversial Oscar speech where she really stood on being Dominican, and apparently black people were bothered by her not claiming her blackness, but her Dominicanness. But like, if you know anything about Dominicans, they are Dominican, not black. So what do you expect?
He was an HBCU student at A&T for drumline, right? Like so
Yeah, and yeah, and
she's
what's her
always been that way. Plus the role in the movie that she just won the award for was a Hispanic woman role. So it's like
name? She's like a Mexican or some shit, but she's Dominican.
yeah.
Like,
That's what I'm saying. It's Hispanic though. It's Latin.
bro, no, that's not how that culture works.
It's Latin.
No, that's the American version of it. But like most Latin people aren't going to tell you they're Latino or Latino. They're going to tell you where their people are from, even if they were born in America. We're getting no audio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
I just have to say fuck the AirPods, man.
Yeah, I know. Either way, she was typecasted, I guess is all I'm saying. One way or another. That's how she got the role. She got the role because
No, she's not typecast, man. She got the job. I think black people want anybody who looks black to claim black, like as in like me and you, like ADOS, African descendants of slave shit, and get mad when they don't claim their blackness for what they actually are. And even if they're playing a black role, even if they do adopt some virtues of American black culture because they live in America and they're grouped with black people outside of their homes, but inside their homes, what's instilled into them is to be a proud Dominican, a proud Cuban, a proud Haitian. Like Haitian Josh, one of my best friends. That nigga's still Haitian. Like you ask him, hey, what you? He ain't gonna say I'm black. He gonna say I'm Haitian. You know what I mean? So like, I just think black people need to get over it and stop having like this inferiority complex that if you look black, but you don't claim to be like black American, especially when you do something good. Hey, if they don't want to claim you, don't claim them. Who cares if she's Dominican? If she's a fire actress, watch her work. If you think she's fucking bank material, you know what I'm saying? Go to the bank. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't give a fuck if Zoe Saldana. I ain't know what she was till this week and didn't care. I still don't care. She's fine.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And I mean, everybody has to understand that. Obviously, like I said, even with my daughter's mother, I mean, she is Panamanian, right? Like that's what the household she grew up in, and that's what they are, right? Like I don't, but and I know that that's more a little bit Afro Latina, but whatever.
Same thing.
Point being, huh?
Dominican, same thing. They're Afro Latino.
Right. And so I just again, I agree with you kind of wholeheartedly there. If they don't want to claim that, that's fine because they are that. So if that's what they want to claim, kind of with the same thing with Kamala, everybody was trying to like typecast her. Yeah, she's black. No, but she claims her Indian heritage too, right? Which makes her Asian Pacific.
I think it's different. I think it's different with politicians.
How so? If she wants to claim it one way or another, she went to an HBCU, but she's still her mother's Indian.
I don't mean shit.
Her father's Jamaican.
I'm with you, but like, it's a little bit different as a politician who is. She was trying to she was trying to carry herself as a traditional black woman around black people, but then be who she truly was in other rooms.
But anyone that was black knew that.
No, they didn't.
Shit, I did.
Well, yes, because we are critical thinkers, and just because we see skin folk don't mean we just assume they're kinfolk. Just because we see Democrats don't mean we think they have our personal or our community agendas at the forefront. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not those niggas. When she trots out there with Quavo talking about standing on business and Meg Thee Stallion in a short suit shaking her ass, dog, a black woman wouldn't even do no corny ass shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think Michelle Obama, a black woman from Chicago, would present herself like that?
No.
Do you think Candace Owens would carry herself like that?
No. Oprah Winfrey wouldn't.
Oprah wouldn't. You think of any of the influential black women who did not come up in hip hop? Like, and I'm
even
talking about
Beyonce has a certain type of decorum.
But Beyonce did not come up in hip hop. She came up in church, gospel, R&B, pop, to hip hop as it became the dominant genre. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And Beyonce was also raised by her American black parents. And Beyonce carries herself like a respectful black woman. Yeah, she might show a little ass in the Levi commercials, but it's covered. You know what I'm saying? Like, has any Beyonce news ever leaked?
Not to my knowledge.
They exist?
Somebody said that they had a tape. Who was it? It was like Bun B, not Bun B.
Probably
like Pimp C. Somebody, they hinted that Pimp C said something, but
but
he's not here, so it doesn't matter.
It hasn't seen the light of day. You know, Beyonce, even in her sexy ways, she's done it in a respectful way that
tasteful.
Tasteful. Yeah, neither one of us would be disgusted if our daughters like looked up to Beyonce, as long as they weren't like crazy beehive with it. But like, if they were fans of Beyonce and looked at her as a woman to model the way they wanted to carry themselves as, we're not going to be
like, inspire what they want to do. If they want to,
we wouldn't be like, whoa. I understand Kim Kardashian has a great business empire, but she's famous for taking cock.
A lot of it, apparently.
So, what about I talked about this on the Village Vets pod, and the conversation didn't kind of go the way I wanted it to. What are your thoughts on these old niggas social media popping? Like Jim Jones, Cameron, 50. I think what Chad Ochocinco did to Cam was somewhat tasteful because Cam got super personal on him for no reason.
I think about the demographic of the people. Everybody you named outside of Chad is from New York, and I think that where you're from does say something about you. And with them, they're New York guys. Like I know they're different boroughs, but they're still New Yorkers. And the one thing I've learned about New Yorkers is that, and really people from up north in general, but specifically New York, these are people that are always typically unfiltered, and they're very much so stuck in their way. Doesn't really matter how much money they made, uh, what their profession is. They're very true to what the culture is there. And
You know why?
why?
It's a place that people move to, not move out of. And when you've been
It's the
told,
greatest city on earth, if you let anyone tell it.
right, but when you've been told your city is the greatest place ever, everybody wants to be here. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. If you grow up believing that, you're going to think that your way is the right way and then throw success on top of it. You know what I mean? I just think
Ego.
I just think that shit's corny.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I think that it's crazy because we forget how old these niggas really are,
They
and
50,
like they're old. All them niggas are old. All them
50.
niggas are old,
God,
bro. Like, but they were kind of old even when they were popping. Like these niggas. Like I know Cam was super young. Like I look back at like Cameron and like Paid in Full, right? And how much younger, obviously, he looks. But they might have been in their late 20s even then. So it's like they were already kind of old. Like these dudes were kind of already old. Like
yeah, they're
Little Wayne, like people like Little Wayne's an exception because of how young he got started. He wasn't very old.
no.
Like he's for what he's in
But
maybe his mid 40s.
Wayne,
Like Kanye's not 50 yet. Like
well, no,
they're younger. Them dudes are younger.
Wayne, I don't know about Ye. Wayne hit his stride at typical rapper age. We just saw Wayne's quote unquote mixtape era, not his real mixtape era, like his early albums. We got to see that on a large screen because Cash Money was so big. But like we're not really supposed to know the block is hot, Wayne. We're supposed to meet Wayne at the Carter.
Correct, but that's my point. I'm just saying, like, even for them, but everybody in that during that time, that early 2000s, them dudes are all old. Like they old. Like them dudes are old. Like niggas. Like Hove is
Kanye's
55. Like Jay Z
45.
is 50 fucking 5 years old. These dudes are older,
Kanye's
and
47.
that's what. But I'm saying, even for
Cam,
him, he's not
hey,
even
bro,
50 yet.
Cam's 49. So like they're the same age.
Cam's 49.
Yeah.
Okay, and Jimmy.
Jimmy's
I
40.
think
Jimmy's
Jimmy's 50.
48.
Oh,
He's
he's
48.
48. Okay. All right, so they're kind of the same. And Wayne's probably like 44, 45, something like that.
50's 49, and I'll get you Wayne, and I'll be done. All these niggas same age.
He's
Wayne,
46, 47.
Wayne, it didn't pop up right there. Let me see. Wayne, oh yeah, Wayne's 42. He's a baby to them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But these are like the younger dudes. Like Beyonce had just turned 40 not that long ago. And so
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. I just thought you were. I just didn't want you to put Kanye in the Wayne age group because Kanye is more so
closer to
them,
correct.
and he acts like them because he acts a fool on the internet as a grown ass
Correct.
man.
No, that's true. No, that's absolutely true. Albeit maybe a little bit different of a space because they kind of just speak. He just tweets and does interviews.
Point
But
being is they put their thoughts out there that could have real consequences to their business, and they say fuck it. It may help their business. It may not. They just, they don't mind. I don't know. I just think it's lame.
I would be enjoying my money at that age. I just, I keep working. Of course, they're going to continue to work, but like, because nobody stops. No, nobody stops. Literally, not the richest people in the world continue to work every day. So like, nobody stops. But like, I would be enjoying it more and not want to be, especially if I'm not active in music, which for the most part none of them are. I mean, I
No,
guess
no, no,
Kanye
Jim,
kind of
no, no,
is.
no. Jim is active. Jim just dropped the album Friday. Jim's
I
active.
ain't hear it, but like,
He's independent. I heard it. It's actually a good album. Jim's
really,
active. Yeah, no, Jim's dropping an album like every 18 months.
wow. Yeah, but nobody's really checking on it either, right? But like,
He's
it doesn't
independent.
mean that there's not. It doesn't still have listening ability and value, but like, nobody's
Jim's
checking on Jim Jones's music. Like I did, like I said, I didn't know he dropped, but like,
Jim Jones has never been a mainstream solo artist. Yeah,
that's true too. For what
yeah,
it's worth, I mean,
he had his one hit. Some features here or there, but like Jim Jones was talking about doing a verse. I'm like, Jim Jones, you can't do a verses of your own work because it's niche. It's niche, bro. Like me and you would enjoy a Rocco versus some Atlanta artist versus, but that shit's niche.
yeah,
Like a Rocco, maybe a Dro.
yeah, he would wash Dro though,
Yeah,
straight up.
I'm trying to find his comp. I don't think Rocco has a good comp.
B.O.B. would be closer,
I don't think B.O.B.
and
is
B.O.B.'s got more like
mainstream
hits. Yeah, but I'm just saying, in terms of somebody that's got about the same amount of songs that we all fuck with, like they got like 6-7 songs.
But like the crowd who would show up to that versus, you don't like. They're two different crowds, so you don't walk away from that with a good feel of who won the versus. You know what I mean?
Dro doesn't have a good comp here.
Not Dro.
I mean, not Dro. Rocco. Not here. It'd have to be.
Flocka,
I tell you
maybe?
what, Project Pat could go against, and I think Project Pat would win. But he would be a good, maybe kind of Memphis's version. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good comp, but I'm just saying, like maybe somebody like him.
Because like Rocco in a 10-song versus could wash. Rocco could hold his own against better artists if you limit the catalog.
Could Little John go against B.O.B.?
B.O.B. couldn't go against Little John. What are you talking about?
I know Little John's got more, but I'm saying they also both have that appeal outside of just like rap.
No. B.O.B. Lil Jon is B.O.B. doesn't have a Lovers and Friends. He doesn't have a yeah.
Airplanes was pretty big, and so is
Bro, you've been hearing yeah since you were in the
but okay, but now this gets to my point too. I'm talking about their songs. And I know Yeah's always been Usher's song to me.
Well, Lil Jon made the beat, produced it.
I know. But
all Lil Jon songs are kind of somebody else.
I'm talking Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, basically.
Lil Jon, his competition would be somebody like a DJ Khaled, somebody who makes comp albums.
Ooh. But that ain't even fair because DJ Khaled doesn't have any verses on anything. Like,
but I'm just saying, like, that's more of who he would be going. Like, not Dr. Dre, but a Dr.
Akon, maybe. Somebody like Akon.
That's actually a good versus, Lil Jon and Akon.
Okay, that's fair because convict, but like
and those crowds mix because that's a nice southern / commercial crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, somehow we got to talking about verses. I actually think that's way better than talking about old niggas beefing online. But I will tell you, if we ever got into like podcast beef, it was real podcast beef, I would use our podcast to throw shots at people, but I would never do it in a way that was blatantly obvious to anybody except them and anybody who knew what was going on.
Right.
I wouldn't like center a show around it like, hey, let me talk about these suck ass niggas who got beef with AC Lee and Parlay Pete Pauls. If you think you can talk Atlanta sports, hip hop, culture, his life better than us. Nah, man. I remember you in Forbes not even getting on the B card, son. Not on the B card in Forbes. Nigga, you ate in the calf in the very back by yourself. Fried Chicken Wednesday, you went to the burger line. Nigga, we smacking chicken out your plate. I look like doing some shit like that.
And and nigga, and when you went up there, Tyrone didn't even give you the patty melt. You know, he just said, "Nah, nigga, here, take this burger." When we went up there, if we wanted a burger, we said, "Hey, Ty, we want a patty melt." Ty fucking buttered it on the other side. He smashed it together, nigga. We got a patty melt, which he did. Tyrone used to throw some, especially. Let me tell you, anytime I went in there at the end of that shit with the basketball team, like after a practice, and we went in there, that nigga was hooking everybody up.
Let me tell you who I had a good with. I had a
The
good
omelet lady.
Miss Lisa, yeah.
The omelet lady was the fucking truth too.
Bro. And what you missed out on was my freshman year. Her line at lunch was the exotic line. So like you might come in there and there's like gator bites, frog legs, just like random off the wall shit. Yeah, my freshman year we had that shit at Morehouse. Our first time having frog legs was in the Morehouse Cafe. Shout out to Chavas or Chivas, whatever it is.
Wow.
With a nice remoulade sauce. Or remoulade, however the fuck you say that shit. Yeah, because see, I got cool with Miss Lisa because I was in ROTC and we get done working out early. So we might be in the cab and there's nobody in there. So you actually talking and stuff and ooh, you know.
Yeah, and honestly, I only ate in there really one semester, but like, I do remember Tyrone's ass on the burgers, and I certainly, anytime I actually had a chance to get breakfast, the omelet line, and I just remember her because she was always one of the cooler people in there. And then you
Yeah,
remember there was it was a fine chick, yeah, the gold, yeah, and then there was the fine chick that was working the front, who apparently fucked somebody. I don't know.
I know.
Yeah, it was just something I heard, but
I was gonna tell you that story like when we like logged off. Like I got it firsthand from the source.
Yeah, she looked good though, honestly. Like she actually did look kind of good.
Little neck tat, little cigarette smoker.
Well, she had a nice little figure too. So like, yeah.
You remember Miss Gwen, R.I.P.? Older lady from the main line, blessed and highly favored.
I feel like I do.
I mean, you just didn't really live the. You didn't live.
I didn't. It was only one semester, and then PSP, we were there too. But like, nah, I don't think that the full calf was open like that then. But like, we still, I mean, because we ate there every day. So like, but yeah, I only had a semester basically of really eating in there.
You should have done 2 years on campus.
I should have did a full year.
I say 2.
I'm okay with 1. 1 was good. I mean, half a semester I felt like was good, but like I probably should have did a full year.
Here's the thing, though. You had a lot of self-generated fun when you're on campus. You sometimes just find shit. You know, well, you do know because our Purdue parties would be niggas finding shit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
No, how crazy was it that we had that?
The partying was still the same though for me for really the first 2 years. Anyways, even though I didn't live on campus, I was still there. Like especially on Friday night, I didn't. Even when I moved off campus, I didn't go back. I would either stay in Josh's room or once Jew moved to Purdue.
Yeah, you
was there. Yeah, I'd be there. Anyways,
the crazy thing was that RD let us throw these wild parties.
Was Lee y'all's RD at the time, right?
Yeah, like he knew. Like he just said.
Lee was Justice's RD at Brazil his freshman year.
Lee's only request was that we cleaned up everything. Like we got in trouble one time because Pick Nasty. You remember Pick Nasty? Nasty invited the joint over. They drunk a bottle of vodka. She didn't want to cut nothing. He spazzes on her. Yo, come over here, drink all my liquor, not let me fuck. What? Going off. And like she leaves. And like he takes both of the trash cans and just throws them down the hall. He rips off everything off the bulletin boards. You know, I'm watching it. I don't care. And then Lee comes back at us because we were like, me and Teron were like low-key the responsible ones on the hall, which is crazy. And he was like, what is this? He was like, if y'all want to keep partying, y'all got to like clean this up. So we end up like cleaning it up and all of that stuff and making it nice and doing like this Navy theme and shit. But bro, we had Bongzilla in dorm rooms, doors wide open, and just a party on the whole wing, and people outside on the front with the door propped open smoking weed.
Yeah, no, I remember. Look, I brought that Bongzilla over, and so imagine walking through the front of a fucking building with that shit, too. Because you got to think of it that way too. Imagine walking through. Now, granted, they can't really say anything to you because, well, what are you going to say? Well, this could be a prop for all you know. It could be decoration. Like, you don't know what I'm using this, why I'm bringing it in, but it's still this big ass box.
Like, and the RA was coming to the party too.
Who was the RA that was there?
I don't remember, but he was cool. And we just said, hey, if we ever having a party, bro, any girl you want, you can shoot, no problem with his girlfriend, and like we'll pour you up. You know what I'm saying? Like you could the RA could always party with us.
Yeah.
Even if the ratio's off, hey, this guy runs the place.
Yeah.
He's welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he can just shut this down.
And you know the crazy thing though about you walking into the dorm, and maybe good reason why you didn't live in the dorm. You come in there with Bongzilla, you're typically not by yourself. You got another guy or two with you. You got a few chicks, you know. We ain't got them all there, but like the baby Kyles of the world, some of the other ones who like would just be there no matter if it was good or bad.
Kai. Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't think of the name.
Chanel.
They're there for setup. And you already know these niggas in the lobby going out, niggas smoking cigarettes on the stoop. Like, what y'all got going? Nigga, nothing.
Right. None of your business.
You'll hear us, but don't cross that line.
I tell you, unless you got a 12-pack, and then you just look at them.
You got booze, or you
got some decent women. Like we're not even. It ain't. Nobody's necessarily going into this saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have sex," but that is actually at that point in time. No, that is kind of what I want to do. Do you have women that will come over that you know that there's a chance I've never met them? Like, can I meet some new people?
Yeah.
We don't need any more guys. I've got enough guy friends in here.
Yeah, and
if you don't have any alcohol, then you need to have some butt. And
this dorm
is not your butt. So like,
and this dorm is full of dudes. So if we need extra dudes,
we know who to call next, anyways. If we need more men.
Well, and you know, for me, I'll hit up somebody like Haitian Josh, Cam, Marv. Like, if we need an extra dude or two. Like, we all had friends that wouldn't be at those parties that would be there in 10 minutes.
Yeah, JP might have been selling some shit or something, and we could have called him from LLC and say, "Hey,
because
there might be some people in here that want to cop."
And then it might be somebody bringing something in, and we cool with them, and they like, "Oh, y'all having a party?"
Bet I'm gonna hit up.
Because I'll tell you, one of the wildest nights we had in Purdue was we had some shorty came in with a dude. She knew Pig Nasty. She came and talked to Pig Nasty for a little while, and then she didn't leave him dude. I mean, she didn't go back to them dudes. Like, I mean, they like in the hallway checking and shit, and like, I don't know what she did that night, but you know, things happen. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Because I mean, we're at 3 hours telling old college stories.
We're pretty much done here.
Yeah, we are. All right, man. It's been great. I don't know what I'm about to do. Probably stare at my computer and decide if I'm going to do some work before I go to bed or if I'm going to do it in the morning.
Well, you have fun with that. I might be getting ready to have somebody come. We'll see here shortly. But
Yeah, I figured. You know, be responsible.
of course, as always.
All right, dog.
All right, brother. Another great podcast. Salutations to the good people out there.
All right, dog. I'll holler at you.
All right.